Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Silver and Steel, our very own D&D 5th edition story right here on D&D Beyond. We have a great story lined up for you today, but first we have some introductions and announcements to make. First of all, as always, every time myself or one of our wonderful cast members rolls a nat 20, somebody in the audience has a chance to win a legendary bundle for D&D Beyond, which is a pretty great prize, if I may say so myself. But before we get into the game and into our recap, let's get some introductions out of the way. We'll just go clockwise, starting with B. Dave. Take it away.
B. Dave Walters. I'm playing Freely, the halfling of action. And this is gonna be fine. It's all gonna be good. It's great. It's fine.
This is fine.
It has been so far.
For the most part.
Yeah. It hasn't been. Yeah, nothing too terrible has happened.
Hey, I've still got my other arm. That's true. Yes.
I've
Lauren?
either been in something's butt or in something's mouth.
What?
I mean, is it Friday already?
You are
Well,
not
the
in
tail.
any. I was gonna say you are
Technically-
not in any sphincters, sir.
Technically,
Yeah,
I
but
took
but
that
we
tail
were-
anyway.
But we were in a stinky hole.
That's true.
That's true.
True.
That was a
True.
rough 10 minutes.
That was like a ground sphincter, I suppose you could say.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
How am I supposed to follow
Less stinky
ground
than a human sphincter.
You're going to have to.
apparently. Yeah. That's
Ground
it.
Well-
sphincter, new emote.
There you go. No, I'm not making my husband draw a ground sphincter. Hi, I'm
No,
Lauren
I
Urban. You
will.
might know me as Hey, if you want to pay him, that's fine. I am the community manager for D&D Beyond. I'm playing Callie, the Warforged Rogue. I have no transition from that.
It's gonna look like a toothless sarlacc.
He can draw it. This is not about what my husband can't draw. This is about what I refuse to ask him to draw.
It's like cue that Jeff Goldblum. You were so busy thinking if you could, you didn't stop to think and ask if you should.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
okay.
just. This is where you. This is your limit. You have limits.
I do. I really do.
I'm glad that we found
Ground
it.
sphincters. That's my limit.
It's a good limit to have.
Here, this far, no further.
I didn't know until now.
Oh, man. I think a new monster block is in store.
Todd, you're up next.
I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be allowed to even talk. I'm Todd Kenreck. I'm the creative manager over at D&D Beyond. I produce shows like this and Beyond Heroes and Todd Talks and builds character. Yeah, I do creative stuff. That's it.
And last but definitely not least, great photo of your hair on Twitter, by the way. Just saw it.
Thanks. Thank you.
Totally did not have Twitter open at my second monitor.
I feel very
Just
glamorous
kidding.
today.
Totally not what happened.
I mean, now I'm gonna go look at it. I'm looking right now.
It's a really good photo.
Thank you.
How are you doing today, Meagan?
I'm doing good. My name's Meagan Kenreck. I'll be playing Sofieus, a level 4 alchemist artificer. I came here to chew invisibility gum and accidentally knock my friends prone. And I still have a lot of invisibility gum. So you all should be okay.
I
This
like
also is
that.
a very, very nice ad. See, it's not shameless pandering when I'm plugging you at Meagan Kenreck on the Twitters. Yeah, with a T at the end.
Which-
yeah, you.
Which Todd will never let me live down.
No.
I mean,
Don't let him. It's a good name.
Puns
No,
are
I-
popular.
Yeah,
I took
Sure.
your last name and then I made it my own.
you made it better. Yeah.
Yes, you did. You did
Aftermarket
that.
upgrades. Yes, no, that is a delightful hair photo. That is true, folks. You should toss her a follow. Also, see that delightful hair photo.
And okay. So let's talk about what happened in the last episode. Since we talked about ground sphincters, our
What else?
Our-
I mean, yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. That's we're all
And good night.
Bang, good night. There you go. That's it.
Yep.
yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Our wonderful crew decided to follow the directions of a snotty 7-year-old goblin and look in the direction for a den that they think might contain more werediles. There, they came upon a beast, a large serpentine beast that gave them some information before passing in a very violent fashion. There, they also found some eggs, as well as the corpse of what can only be described as a giant axolotl, which Freely very respectfully laid to rest. At this point, Callie did some very thorough investigative / vivisection work, and set about trying to ascertain more about what this beast was. In the process, she uncovered some strange rune markings on the ground underneath the slain beast's remains. Then the group cleaned up because they were very disgusting and started to ride back to Port Argent. but they were waylaid by an emergency phone call from our very lovable level 1 warlock who had a lot to say about her very, very angry mother that she only refers to as Lady. Freely took it upon himself to announce the adventurers' arrival, like full government names, to the town of Port Argent, which sadly brought Lady's wrath down upon Avren's head. And this is where we find our adventurers today. And yeah, so if you're just tuning in, that's where we're at. Oh yeah, I'm your DM, That Bronze Girl. You can find me online everywhere at That Bronze Girl. And with that, let's roll the trailer. Hit it. And welcome back. Also, before we dive into the game, we have some super awesome fan art brought to you by our wonderful viewers from Twitter.
Oh my God, I forgot.
Here we have
adorable Avren.
a chibi Avren.
GB Avren. He's so mad, but he's so little.
He's so cute. He's my little butterball.
That's by Tiffy at Maliex. I'm trying to get the names right, but I'm having a hard time with it.
And then we have Sophia's gift because
The origin story of the butter emote.
yeah. I mean that
the
deserves
gritty
to be
origin
gift.
Zack Snyder story of the buttery.
Just me trying to figure out how I can work in the butter component.
I want you to know, Sofieus, this is true. As I've been planning out Freely's build, I overtly have been planning things for him around your butter hijinks and making your butter shenanigans more effective. I want you to know.
That's good. I
literally have
really
been
hope that
planning.
you have more defense with all of my accidental greasings of my friends.
That is part of the plan. Yeah, at least to be able to just stand still. And fight.
Oh, an
That's gotta
accidentally.
be, yeah. We need to come up with a spell that's just accidental grease.
Accidental grease.
Yeah.
He died in an unfortunate accidental greasing
Some, like
accident.
wild
think-
surge type of stuff.
Yeah.
She's figured that out. Yeah, no, she's the knight of bacon. She should have been the knight of grease, but yes.
I should have been the knight of butter.
Greasy night.
Butter night.
How
I'm a
did
butter
it turn
night.
into- Oh, I think it was. Did you use bacon grease for that fight, or did it smell
Yeah.
like bacon after the
It smelled-
crocodile?
It was
Both.
well. I have I think bacon bits and butter as a component, so it can be butter or bacon scented.
Ah, bacon scented. That's obviously the best smell.
Just making you
Is it-
hungry one hit point at a
It
time.
really isn't. I
If
don't
you
know
want-
why. I've never found the smell of bacon to be appealing. I like the way it tastes, but
That's okay. It's not
no.
for everybody.
That's true.
yeah,
I'm Jewish,
I
so
don't know
I
why.
can't say anything.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It is an absolute good. It's self-validating, but okay. Yeah. Zone of safety. Zone of safety. It's fine.
Also, thank you, Robo Goblin, for the GIF and for all the other gifts. And
Thank you, Robo Goblin.
Thank you, everybody,
You're
for your awesome art and everything. And now, more of this.
Back to
Yeah.
Wendy the Goblin
And-
versus the Knight of Smiles and Stink.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say I have collected the egg white from the snake monster that we fought.
Oh,
I-
very
So-
nice.
I think it was
Soetta.
her eggs.
Her name was Soetta.
Why did
Sweta.
it turn red?
Because it is a snake egg white. I don't know.
See, you
lot of
say that
blood.
now, but then you're gonna take a sip, and it's gonna be extra disgusting because we're gonna be envisioning egg white.
Dude, zone of safety. Zone of safety. Let your freak flag fly, Megan.
That's like
Fine.
some
Fingers.
Rocky climbing up the stairs type of.
Little grainy.
I'm like at the risk of crossing the streams there, subtle the mug there.
Oh.
I'm like, let me just rotate that back around this way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, I'm going to make you all.
Oh, are we having a mug off?
snake
Mine's
egg
Stardew
snake
Valley.
egg white omelets? What's that?
It's a game where you farm and you go in the mines. This is the map of the game, which reminds me of a map I'm making for our game. So that's why.
Then I think you are Daisy.
Wait,
I think Daisy is your alter ego.
I'm wondering if Silver and Steel is just Animal Crossing because we started the game with Freely and radishes,
Oh,
and then we're going to a mine.
Yeah.
She sort of had told us like outright the entire time. Yeah, I appreciate you just had your usual suspects moment.
I was today
She
old
told
when
us
I realized that
from the very beginning.
Yeah. I
what
thought it was a
exactly what this
joke.
was.
I think the pitch was Animal Crossing meets Dead Space.
Meets
I think that was the
Miyazaki.
pitch.
No, there's definitely a
Miyazaki.
Miyazaki component. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
mhm.
okay.
It's true.
Gotta
it's
have
fine.
the Miyazaki component.
That's why every time we meet a corrupted animal, I'm like, is there a single bullet in it? Can I take the one bullet out of it? Yeah. Solve their problem? Yeah.
All
mhm.
right.
Yep.
I guess we
Alright.
should start the show.
I mean, I
No,
thought we
yeah.
had started it. I tried to set up
show's
Wendy
well
versus
underway.
the Knight of Smiles and Stinks. You can take it.
Exactly.
1v1
So-
with the goblin.
Where we left off, Mindy had just essentially done her version of clapping you about the ears.
Mhm.
I feel like Toll the Dead is probably her version of boxing your ears. And she had stormed off towards the town, vaguely threatening you. And now you find yourselves before the gates.
Well, I guess we should check on the miners. I mean, now that that's done, the awkwardness.
Avren, can you grab my hand? Where are you? I can't see
Oh
you.
yeah, that's right. I'm invisible.
Just grab my hand.
I grab your hand.
There you are.
Roughly, where is the mine relative to Port Argent?
So if you go through town, it's going to be at the very outskirt on the opposite end.
And we
That's
were
also, that's also the part of town where a lot of miners make their home. Like out in the suburbs a little bit.
and we've arrived pretty late, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, the sun is well on its way underneath the horizon. It's like that nice blood red time of day.
Since we have to go through town anyway, should we check in with anybody? Should we talk to the members of the council, find out updated information about what is going on?
I think we should talk to the members of the council. I don't really know if they liked Avren and I very much. I don't even know why we are
Well,
on the council, but
we're
we should
literally
talk to them.
part of the council. It's like we're not a majority, but not all of
Yeah,
them hate us.
we're
'cause
part of
we're
the
them.
council, but I don't really know if they want us there. But we should talk to them.
Don't care if they don't want.
I know
care
you
if they
don't
don't
care.
want us there.
I know.
Yeah, let's go check in with the council and see how the miners are doing.
Are Rodney and Erica on the gates?
Oh, yes, they are.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, we should tell. Oh, yes.
Erica
Yeah.
looks very annoyed as always, and Rodney is telling her stories about something. And every few seconds, you see her hand come up, and she pushes him a little further away. And he still does not observe the proper social distance. And he's like, "Well, And he's in the middle of saying that when you stroll up to him.
Rodney. Hey, Erica. hi.
Hey,
Hey,
friends.
First of all, those directions you gave us, spot on, brother. If you could just point me towards the collapsed mine where people are in peril immediately, I would really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. No, I can definitely do that. Basically, what you want to do, I got a shortcut here.
Oh boy.
Instead of going through the middle of town,
Yeah,
you're going to do.
that's the sucker way. Yeah. mhm.
There's a lot of people in the middle of town, a lot of eyes on you.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Come in close.
Yeah.
You
mhm,
do.
Yeah.
As you walk down to the
Ugh.
dock,
Uh-huh.
follow the dock. Nobody's on it this time of day because fishermen are already bringing in today's catch. It's
Yeah,
done.
it's low tide, man. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
So you just go through there. You follow that.
Yeah.
You just go all the way. Then the dock ends.
Mhm.
Then from there, you're gonna do is you're gonna go right.
Yeah.
When you go right, you're gonna see like a big house that has like 3 floors on it. It's like a they call where like a lot of people live.
Like a
An
Um,
condo?
apartment complex.
No, not that.
Like a inn?
No, not that really.
We're gonna be dead by the time we get done with this.
Like a mansion.
No, not that. 'Cause it's like-
Estates?
A manor?
No,
A manor?
no, not that. Like an
Big
inn.
freaking.
An inn.
Nah, I think she said.
That's
inn
what
was
I
one of-
said.
Yeah, that's. she-
Well, it was an inn. It wasn't any of what y'all said. And then you go there, and then past the inn, you go left, and you'll see it.
Is that Sal's Inn? Because that's where we're staying anyway. You know that, right?
No, Sal's Inn is the good inn. That's the
Okay.
one that's over near the gate, past
Right.
a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not allowed there.
No, you shouldn't be. Okay. Hey, so you guys, I'm gonna head to the mine. If you're checking in, Callie, are you gonna come? Because we can be sneaky. We can be sneaky, Callie. Or you guys can catch up because I'm gonna run on ahead.
Well, my understanding is the problem with the mine is that it has collapsed and we need to remove rocks. Are we required to sneak up on the rocks?
I mean, we don't know what we might have to sneak up on the way there. You asked me to sneak. I'm trying to sneak. This is me trying to. This is me trying to do what you.
I appreciate that. I
But-
would like to be able to check in, but mostly because I do not feel like I'm going to be able to move rocks effectively. But I will go wherever you think makes the most sense.
Yeah, let's go ahead and to the miners first. I don't think we're gonna get anything informative from the city council. They're just gonna bicker and whine and complain. So let's just go to the mine right now and make sure everyone's fine. I don't think we need to stealth up on the mine though.
I lean in close to Avren and Sofieus, and I'm like, and I'm not 100% sure that Chuksena from the council isn't a part of all of this.
While he does that,
I'm not so sure either.
I'm going to lean over to Rodney and say, and by the way, we were able to take care of that weredial that you warned us about. It is, at least one of them are dead.
Is that his
Rodney.
name, Rodney, the drunk guy?
I
Rodney,
thought,
you
I thought
okay?
it was.
Yes,
It is, yeah,
it was.
Rodney.
I'm sorry.
Rodney and Erica. Yep.
Yeah,
Rodney.
Rodney and Erica.
Because Rodney was the one who warned us about the weredial in
True.
Derby.
Yeah.
God, Rodney.
People sometimes don't think I know what's happening.
And Rodney, as a
And
reward
we're
for all
right.
of this
And I
helpful
do.
information, I would like to give you a gallon of wine, if you will be so kind to accept this as payment.
That is so nice of you. And you see Erica's hand come out, and she's like, he's already drunk. He shows up drunk to work every single day. Why would you enable him?
Plus, this is how he
Terrible.
functions, and maybe we
Function,
don't
he's
tell
very
everybody about this. Maybe it is better if he's drunk all the time. Would you prefer I give him water? Or do you want to see him sober?
Give
Do you
him
want to see
mayonnaise.
that? Do you think that's better?
Mayonnaise will sober him up very quickly.
That is disgusting, Avren. He will never drink 2 gallons of mayonnaise.
Okay,
You can make
give
eggnog out of it.
me the wine, and I'll ration it to him because he has to at least be able to just stand here just for the rest of his shift, and then after that he can drink it. I don't care.
When Sophia says she's
Okay.
giving it as a reward, I press to digitate a little noise like doo 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 doo. Like, yeah, Rodney, all right.
That's pretty cool
Level up.
because I'm not like other people. Other people are like, I'll tell you, you gotta give me something. I gave you guys really good advice. I didn't even ask for a beer. I didn't ask for anything. So this is y'all are good in my.
I mean, would you rather have beer? Because I have
no,
that too.
I love beer. Beer is a
I-
lot better.
Well,
ale.
you could get more beer than what I
That's
can
true.
give you. I can
That's
give
true.
you 4 gallons of beer. Would you like that?
Oh wow,
Where are
that's
you
a
keeping
lot
that?
of
Like, what
beer.
how?
I would
Really,
do
how,
that.
It's just
how
in
are you
this-
surprised
It
by
is just
this?
in this 12-pound jug. It is no problem.
That's
Really, it's called
amazing.
magic. I know all the cool kids are
I
doing
might
this
learn
now.
magic. I'm gonna learn magic. Why am I
Mm,
paying for that? You
no,
know.
Well, you
no,
don't
you're not.
need magic, Rodney. You have beer. Here you
I
go,
mean,
Erica.
I'm watching you, and I'm like, I
You-
need that.
You
Why am I
don't
paying
need
for that?
magic.
You
You
need
have
beer. Why
beer.
didn't somebody tell me that years
Yes.
ago? My life
that-
would have been so much easier.
That's
I think we're missing an opportunity to make him think that he can become a wizard.
I mean,
I
apparently
know.
anyone
Any
can be a
ideas,
warlock, so
Avren?
maybe he
Beer.
can be a wizard.
Yeah,
I'm
that
pretty
seems
smart.
very on
I
theme.
told y'all about thing. I'm not even
Avren,
better than
Avren, can
that.
I see you
And
to the side
basically, I
quickly?
made
Avren,
your-
Nope,
I
no,
made
no,
your
no.
Success.
Have you ever considered being a warlock?
No, a what?
Absolutely
Can-
not. No, stop it. Right. Yeah. No, I put my hands on Rodney's ears so he can't hear Avren. I'm like, nope. Earmuffs,
He
buddy.
leans forward as you put your hands on his ears and like kind of falls asleep, like
Yeah. Oh,
braced against the weight of your hands.
Oh, yes, sleepy time, my dear
Aw.
sweet Rodney. It is time for bed.
How
Why
big
don't
is
you get real
Rodney?
comfortable and just sleep here for a minute? Don't become a warlock. It is a bad life.
Erica's just like staring off into the sky, and she's just like, 3 more years of guard duty, 3 more years of guard duty, 3 more years.
I don't
of
get paid enough for this.
guard
What,
duty."
what happens after 3 years?
Oh, well, then I get promoted.
What do you
3
get
more years
promoted
of
to?
guard duty. Well, then I can be eligible to serve in a different town in a better capacity, like a different posting other
Oh,
than
yes.
this posting, which
You
is
deserve
standing
a
at
better
gate all day
posting.
with a
Yes.
drunk,
Yes,
you know.
completely understand. You deserve it.
I want to see the world.
And
I
you
would love to
should.
be assigned to a caravan or something, or boat, or sail across the ocean. And instead, I stand at this gate, hour after hour,
Rationing beer for your drunk friend.
with Rodney, of all the people to serve to just post me with. Oh my gosh,
Well, Freely, if you can put Rodney down nice and gently, he'll be asleep for a little while, and we can go along to the
No,
mine.
no, no. It's great. It's great. We both get paid, while he sleeps and I work. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not bitter about that at all. Yeah, no, just prop him up against the wall. It's cool. And I will do both of our jobs.
Wait, what's her name?
Erica.
Erica.
Here's a gold coin for your trouble. I understand that today's been long, and 3 years is also very long. So I apologize for that.
She snatches it out of your hand and bites it. Oh, wow. And you just see it disappear almost immediately. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I never get tipped. Thank you.
Avren, what did that coin say on it? It looked different.
Yeah, it did. We'll talk about that later.
Oh,
As
schmoy.
Freely lowers her to the ground, he looks at Eric and he's like, "Word of advice: do not flip that coin." and turn and head in the direction that Rodney pointed.
She looks like a little confused, but she's like, flip as in like sell it for more, or flip as in. And that's like what you hear as you walk past her.
All right, let's go to the mine. Now that we've
Sure.
had great discussions on
Yes,
wine and everything
onward.
else.
We must save the miners.
While we are walking in that direction to go save miners, Sofieus, how do you
Yes.
have so much mayonnaise?
I don't really know how I was given the magic to carry 2 gallons of mayonnaise, but I can carry all sorts of things in this 12-pound jug. And even if it is empty, it still weighs 12 pounds.
Well, as we've previously established, magic is strange and weird.
Magic is very strange. I can
A
show
lot
you
like
more
Freely's
sometime
head.
of what I can carry in it. It
I'm
might
just-
be even useful to you someday.
They did not say strange and beautiful.
It is beautiful.
That would be several pounds of mayonnaise.
Well, then it is like my head, yeah.
Your head is several pounds of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Strange, beautiful, and 12 pounds even when it's empty. Yes, that is exactly like my head. I know. There you go. I did that one for you, Avren.
Good job.
And filled with several cats, apparently.
We got there. I pat you on the head. I'm still invisible.
Freely is like halfling double timing it, which is sort of probably like a brisk walk for the rest of them. But he is trying to move quickly because he realized we're already late.
Yeah. Yeah, by this time, some of the commotion in town has died down a little bit from what you would expect during a major emergency. You notice there have been some makeshift tents put up and people are bringing in jugs of water and hot bandages and stuff like that. And other than that, the town, although it's a little bit more foot traffic than usual, doesn't seem that different than usual. As you make your way down the docks, you do notice that people are bringing in their last catches of the day and kind of resetting their boats to go out for the next morning. But for the most part, things are quiet on the pier as well. And as you follow the pier to where it ends in the mining district, you do see on your right the big tall building that was described by Rodney. And you realize it is indeed an inn. Or it's more akin to a hostel. There's like a very small, minimal cafe on the bottom. They do serve some alcohol after hours, but it's not a bar per se. And upstairs, you assume one could rent a very small, very humble room here. And then as you make your way through the mining district, you notice here things have been hit a lot harder. There's more injured people walking around with bandages, crutches, things of that nature. Some people kind of point and wave at you as you pass since they recognize some of you at this point. And as you reach sort of the end of this more suburban neighborhood and you go left the way he told you to at the inn, you reach the dirt path that goes to the mine. Here you see large wagons loaded up with large chunks of rock and debris. People have been trying to move them day and night. And at the very front of it, you do recognize your friend Millie with an older, sort of more grizzly dwarf. He's wearing a tank top and he has hair that comes all the way up his back, all the way down his arms, almost like he's wearing a coat. It's silver and wiry, and he looks almost bear-like. He's sweating and he's standing there and ordering out directions with Millie by his side. And that is the scene you arrive on.
I'm going to walk up to Millie because she's the one who warned us about this in the first place. And I'm assuming, hi, we came as quickly as we could. We had to take care of a couple of things. Can I assume that this is your father?
Where were you?
We were taking care of a weredile and another creature that was terrorizing the local area. So
Yes,
it
we
took
got
a
we
little
got a
while.
little held up. I'm so sorry that we are late, but we got here as soon as we could. We're a little bruised and battered, but we are here. We are willing to help in any way that we can. And I also have a lot of water if needed.
Well, we're thankful that you were able to make it and that you were able to send my uncle's men, but things are bad. The mine is clear now. We have a little narrow path we can get people through, but we lost a lot of people. 15 people died in there before we could get to them. We don't even know how we're going to pay for the funerals or where we're going to bury them.
You have to pay for funerals?
She just looks at you like wide-eyed.
Well, that is... Those are questions that I can ask at a later time. Is there anyone still left trapped that we can help with?
No, it's been nearly 2 days.
Is there anything left for us to do except to try to recover the remains?
Probably that. I can't say I'm happy with you. I thought you'd come sooner.
We did try to come as quickly as we could, but we were already trying to help with the weredile situation and make sure that nobody else died there, so...
I don't mean to sound harsh, but if it were Roger and he had to choose between his people and ours, he would choose his. I kind of expected you to do the same.
That's my fault. We did the best we could with the information we had. So let's go inside the mine and maybe investigate exactly why both of these events have happened at the same time.
Well, we have slightly bigger problems now. But
What
I
are
can't talk
those-
to you here, especially because my father, I need to get away from him for just 5 minutes. And you see her dad turn around and just clap her on the shoulder and be like, hey, you're a good little sprout. You did good today. She's just like, follow me just for a moment. Please come with me.
I'll follow her.
After you.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to have to worry about the burial. As a member of the Council of Port Argent, I will help you with that. My deepest condolences.
I feel guilty. I feel like maybe if I had taken up work in the mine, maybe something like this could have been avoided. They could have used more skilled laborers. And
There's no way you could have known.
I appreciate that, but I'm sure that your kind sentiment won't bring those people back to life. This is
No.
a calamity. I don't know how to talk to their wives. And she very hurriedly leads you to the coast, which is kind of on the outside of the town's wall. It's not far from the mine because, as you remember, where the dock ends, we then come into the suburban area. There's the mine. So we're just kind of cutting back over on the other side of the town's wall. Things have been getting strange, but stranger still is one of our farmers one of our fishers found something strange in his net. It's dead, but I think you should take a look at it.
What do you think it is?
Well, I've heard of it before. Something called a merid. But the thing is that what's strange is this is not the first one they've found. Something's eating them out there. Now, just like you, I've heard tell of some type of sea beast that comes and attacks the town every so many years. Some people say it's a mystery. Some people say it's a legend. I don't know. But between the calamity at the mine, if something were to come and attack us at this time, I don't think we could repel such an invasion.
And what did you call it? A merit?
A merid.
A merit?
I've never seen one. Strange
heard?
water elementals they are. I've heard tell of them. Some people worship them, believe that they control the tide.
You don't say.
But for such a beast to be dead, and especially the third one, at first we thought maybe it was a fluke, but this doesn't bode well at all. I told the fisher to hold on to this one. Maybe you could take a look at it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Yeah.
And
take
now
us
you
to it.
say that this weredile that drunkard Rodney talks about, he's a real thing? It's a real, actual...
Oh yes, I'm covered. I'm partially covered in it. Yeah.
Not anymore.
What is happening exactly?
We think there might be something more nefarious going on, and the reason that we wanted to investigate further because there does seem to be a lot of calamities going on all at the same time, and that is very suspicious.
It seems orchestrated. A council person. Who's the
Council person.
Who's the person? I'm trying to whisper a little bit to Sofieus. Who is the person that we suspect?
Chakasana.
Chakasana.
He just says it very loudly.
Thank you, Fairly.
Have you seen her around?
Aye. She was one of the people who helped with the excavation.
Are
I
you
think we
still
should
But
talk to her.
between you and me, there are whispers that it was my Uncle Roger. People are thinking that this might be some type of ploy.
But
that
he seemed
because
like
we
such a
didn't
friendly man.
I agree with you. I do not want any type of war between our cities. But people are thinking it's retribution because we didn't send their caravan. Now, although you managed to get him to bring some help, that has assuaged some people's fears. But there are those that still have doubts.
We figured out what happened to the silver caravan with all of the vegetables. That's what led to a lot of these suspicions that there is some orchestration going on behind all of these issues. The two guards that were there were essentially bribed into doing the wrong thing and were able to describe in some amount of detail the person that was involved. And that is one of the reasons that it took us so long to arrive here, is we were following all of those leads.
I see.
I would be very interested to examine, after we examine this creature, examine the mine itself and try to figure out what exactly had happened, whether this is really just an unfortunate accident or if there is something more nefarious involved.
It's dangerous, but I can get you access. For the time, we've shut it down. We've condemned it. I don't know how we're going to make this work. Silver is our main export, but that's a problem for tomorrow and not for today. I have to be honest, I was rather cross with you. I thought you were right behind me when I rode back from town. And when you weren't, I was a little bit disappointed, but
When
I
she
have a
says
better
that,
understanding now, I think.
when she says I was disappointed, I just hold my hand up and I'm like, okay, look, I don't know how you all do things here. I'm clearly from somewhere very far away. But we had missing children, we had starving farmers, we had people in a collapsed mine, and we did what we could, the best we could do. Your council people, Avren and Sofieus, made sure manpower was sent here. How many of your uncle's people came to help? And how much more rock did they move than the four of us could have done with our bare hands? And we slew 2 beasts on the way here after saving you and your cattle. So I think we've already done quite a lot in the day that at least 2 of us have been here. So yeah, we will help you in your mine. We will help you with your sea creature. But you, Millie, will not be going around asparaging
we
or not.
also let you in. We've welcomed you with open arms like you're our own. And I'm sorry that I expected you to choose us over my uncle's town, because I can tell you, you saw his reaction. He wouldn't have chosen us over his people. This is a very savage land. It's every town for himself.
He did make the choice.
You're right. And maybe that is what has to change. Maybe we can't be every man for himself anymore. But for many years, that's how it's been. And you're right. You're our people. I consider you our people. From the day you fell into the radishes ass first, I've always considered you our people. Because you're good folk. I can tell from you. Just from looking at you.
I appreciate that. And you would think for such a small region that everybody would work closer together. We've had werediles, snakes, and now a merid, which I've never heard of. When
yes, you have a kind heart. You have
Thank you.
kind eyes. But I don't think you realize, if it wasn't for you, Roger wouldn't have sent Pen. He wouldn't care what happened to us. All because we didn't make good on our silver shipment.
Then understand, someone's trying to manipulate both towns into being weaker, to not communicate, to not work together. So you are being manipulated to not trust your uncle, to not trust people in each other's towns. All of this is being set up on purpose. And if the entire town starts thinking this way, that we should be isolationist, both towns will be destroyed. I promise you. Someone's clearly orchestrating all of this.
So keep that in mind.
You're right. It's just an emotional time for all of us, I think.
it
You're
is
smart
understandable.
folk, and very capable. And I think maybe we could have saved some people.
I'm sorry for sounding so naive. And I want to believe that everybody can work together, but it seems that this is not the case.
No.
I think that we need to find out who is responsible for this.
Callie,
Yes.
can you learn anything from this thing that they saved to inspect?
I can definitely take a look and see what I can glean. Are we at the... I'm assuming we've been walking and talking. Have we arrived at the creature?
Yeah, so you've been slowly making your way towards the coast. There is a very large boat moored there, roughly on the makeshift dock. You can tell this dock has fallen to disrepair. At one point, it was part of the town, and then slowly got left behind as this wall was put up as some type of fortification. It's rotting in places, and the boat that is moored there is almost shaped like a duck, an angry duck with angry eyebrows kind of on the prow. It's not huge, so don't think like sailing boat. Think more of like Viking longboat.
Okay.
It has nets hanging from the side and 3 people inside of it. She kind of like shoos them away except for one. She motions them to come here. And she says, "Tell him what you know." And the man says, "This is the 3rd one I pulled up in my net over the past couple of weeks. I brought the first one to Millie since she's the captain of the guard. Well, sort of makeshift captain. But she told me that it was probably just a fluke, but I mean 3 of them, that's weird. It's huge and it's kind of disturbing. I don't know what's killing them, but there's something out there in the deep water that's scaring off the fish. And in all my years, I haven't seen anything feed on these things. They usually keep to themselves."
Sophia's, can you investigate? Can you, do all that creepy stuff you do?
You would like me to do a creepy investigation?
Yes, I would
Creepy
like you
investigation
to
check?
investigate for creep.
I will investigate for creep.
I would love to help you with that creepy investigation. I'm assuming we are looking at the Merid, the creature.
So it's in the boat.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's been pulled into like the main floor of the boat, and the net, you notice, has been cut open so you can have access to it.
Okay.
Well, from where I am standing, I can't really tell anything. I rolled a 7.
Can I try and make an investigation check?
Yeah, you can. So
right.
looking at it, you can get a visual representation without investigating. The creature you see is this very... It has like fins for ears. It's very scaly. It's light purple in color. Its arms are long and spindly and end in 4 webbed fingers. Its features look very sharp, and the absolute size of this creature is actually what's daunting to you. And it has like these... It's wearing... It almost looks like it's somewhat civilized to you. Like it's wearing jewelry. It has like a side pack, and it has like a sash around its neck, around its waist as well. And it's got strong blue legs.
Avren, if you would like to...
Almost looks iridescent, if that makes sense. Like its skin shifts between a nice lavender purpley color and blue.
Do I see Callie? Can you help me examine this?
Absolutely. I feel like with this kind of sentient creature, we don't want to necessarily go for a complete dissection, but anything that we could find on the outside would be good.
Right.
And I'm just giving him my bonus to investigation.
Who's taking the lead on this?
I'm taking the lead on it.
Okay, so yeah, you'll just give him your bonus.
Okay, so it's +7.
Okay.
Whoa, what?
I have expertise in investigation.
Okay. Well, I got a 20.
Also,
Totally.
I have a,
Not a natural 20, dirty 20, dirty 20.
Okay, dirty
I have
20.
a big old -1 to investigation, so I feel like I'm giving like bad advice. I'm like, no, look right there, right there.
Yeah.
No, oh, that's a rock. Never mind.
That's a rock.
When Callie talks about being built for things, this is one of the things she's built for. So yeah.
Yeah, so
You get a +7 to whatever you roll.
27 total.
Yeah. You look at it, and immediately you realize it's playing dead.
Oh, it's a good thing I didn't go after it with my knives.
And it's in the net right now.
Like the net's been cut open, and it's like so I guess like it's laying on top of the net. But you
Right.
Avren, what do you
immediately
see?
realize it's playing dead.
I just kind of motion. I feel like Sofieus and I have known each other long enough at this point, maybe a few thousand years. I just kind of motion like something's not right.
We still have the psychic communication up, by the way.
Oh, we do.
You
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
So no one panic, no one react, no one
I'm
say
gonna keep
anything
my
immediately.
distance.
It's still alive and it's playing dead. So that means it's either scared or going to attack, and I think it's probably just scared. I like to believe because I'm doing better at this.
Mhm.
Caring
You
about
want me
things.
to message it?
Let's do that.
What language does it speak?
Yeah, that's the bit.
I
There
could
is-
try to include it in the psychic link
I was
as
about to
well.
say there, and I looked at message like there is no language requirement. So I guess theoretically it will
Oh.
just hear me. Like I guess whether or not it speaks common, but it'll just hear me, right? But
Mhm.
only it will hear me.
So you send a message in common?
Well, she said she might include it in the psychic link, so I guess
Okay.
we're still.
Yeah, let's include it with Callie's bizarre ability here and try communicate.
Sure. Because I can just add creatures to the link as long as I roll well enough, and then it can decide to leave. That's how I added the guy from the other town. Let me just make sure.
It's the handiest assassin.
But once again, it's like a one-way communication, so I'm just constantly relaying everything, which is kind of fun. And psychic wizards, I roll. I choose a creature you can see. Up to a number of creatures equal to the number that I rolled. For an hour, the chosen creature can speak telepathically with you, and you with them. You and the other creature must be within 1 mile. Creature can't use this if they can't speak a language. Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
You and the creature don't need to speak a common language to understand each other. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
hold on. There we go. 5.
I'm like, I think I can communicate with it.
That's what you fish people speak, right?
So
My
once-
cousin was a fish person.
So the 4 of us and I will now loop in this creature, and you will hear me say to it, "Hello, we know that you are pretending to be deceased, and this is a method of communication so that you can continue to do that if you need to, but we are here to help. Can we help with anything?"
You hear a voice come back, and it's like very soft, almost whispering. And it says, "Heavily injured am I. Leave me so I may return to my haven."
I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on it, if I can, in a really weird artificer way. Like, just going to spray it with goo out of my wrist.
I was like defibrillator pants. Like, live.
You're,
Avery-
you're
as
covered
Avery's-
in water. Electricity will help.
Is Millie still around, and are the other fishermen still around?
Millie is standing nearby. One of the fishermen is standing on the dock. He's the one that gave you the account of what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to at least close any of the wounds to the best of my ability, which is pretty limited.
Yeah. As you attempt to cure the wounds, you notice that on its abdomen, there is like a large gaping gash. Can you give me a medicine roll?
Yeah, okay. Not my strongest suit. 12.
I would say 12 is enough. You understand that this is a little bit out of your league. This
For cure
creature,
wounds?
yeah, this creature, if you attempt to heal it, it's going to help, but not enough, if that makes sense. Looking at its vital signs, looking at the pallor of its skin, looking at like the way it's breathing, it dawns on you that a cure wounds is not going to affect this that much.
So
It's
this is
alive
something
still.
beyond health. This is
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
an infection.
This is you also glean as you're standing, looking down on this creature. You realize this is a very powerful, strong. Like it's large. It's like the size of its muscles. You know, everything about it gives you like a sense of like great power and honor. And you feel like in its full form, it would be something that would be truly a terror to behold. And you get this sense of like for it to be this injured is kind of shocking to you.
Ask it
It's
what happened and how can we help?
I said in the chat like it's poisoned or cursed or something. It's beyond anything I can heal right now. How did this happen? Yeah, Callie, can you ask how this happened to it?
We're more than happy to help in any way that we can, whether that's just bringing you back to where you need to go or offering some healing. Is there anything that we can do to assist your healing, or can you tell us what happened to you?
Landwalker, what I require is above anything you can offer. Leave me to my suffering.
And I'll just be relaying this at this point.
Can they make it back? Will they be okay?
Do you need assistance getting back to deeper water?
And at this point, you see it like kind of give up the charade and like open its eyes and sit up. And it says telepathically to you, understanding that you wouldn't understand its language. I can make it back before I was tangled in this wretched web.
And there is nothing that you can tell us about what attacked you. We believe that we might be searching for the thing. An actual fiend?
A true deep-sea demon. There's only one way to describe it. Its breath crackled with electricity. But worry not, me and mine shall take care of it. And at this point, like he stands up to his full height. And you notice this creature is about 12 feet tall.
Whoa. And currently it's tangled in the net?
No, because the net was cut open so you could like, you know, take a look at it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we will definitely not prevent you from leaving. We were only hoping to help and figure out more about what was going on. If you do require more assistance in destroying this demon, please let us know.
What assistance could you offer?
I will produce.
I can't handle it. You may as well leave this area. And he
Listen,
I pop my sword out. I presume like striking him.
I'll produce one of my knives and say, we are not without our own means of protecting ourselves, and maybe together we can help dispatch this creature.
Callie, tell her that is it he or her?
It seems to be a male from your
Okay.
closest approximations.
Tell them that our two towns above the water have recently been attacked and have experienced strange supernatural happenings. And whatever maybe they are having to deal with under the water may be linked to something that's happening up above, and that we should keep in communication if there's any way possible that we can arrange that.
I'll pass all that along.
The beast responds back to you. I shouldn't say beast. I
Creature.
immediately regretted that.
Creature.
The creature. The creature responds back to you and says, I do not know if this is related. This demon has been known to come back every so many years. It is up to my people to repel it. Only by our blood are your lands kept safe.
Well, we thank you for your efforts, but certainly
If we fail, leave the city. And he like starts to stand up and like kind of stand on the lip of the boat, the railing of the boat. Yes. But he's like kind of like he has one foot up there like he's about to jump into the water.
First of all, in my mind, you called him Beast because he's blue, so now I'm calling him Hank from now on. So
I'm cool with that.
I'm like,
I love it.
Hank, just one thing. If you guys are in trouble, if you think you're losing, if we need to evacuate, like, give us a sign. Like, how will you know if you need? How will we know if you need help?
He looks at you and says, "You are noble, but your primitive weapons will be of no use to you."
I point with an Eldritch Blast and just destroy a nearby rock. Just like
His lip curls into like a small smile, and he projects a water jet. It shoots in a 60-foot line, 5 feet wide, and the utter strength and just like it's like a fire hydrant. It's so powerful. And he like looks back at you.
See, but
Out
they
of his
know that's
mouth?
coming, right? They know what you can do. They don't know what we can do.
Where does it come from?
It comes straight out of his mouth. Like it
Yeah.
looks like it's almost like frightening, like his jaw unhinges and like this like crazy water jet comes screeching out of his mouth, and it's almost like a vortex. When it hits, when he like projects this out in the same direction that Freely pointed, it leaves a furrow in the water underneath it because the air pressure is so strong. You don't want to know what would happen if it hit you.
All right. We understand, but also gross. So good luck with your jet streamy thing, and please communicate with us, and we can potentially help you. I understand that the blood of you and all your ancestors are the only thing protecting all of us, but if you need some of us to bleed with you, that might be
Turns
helpful as well. And I ignite one of my gauntlets,
Mhm.
which is probably not a good idea because water and electricity.
He gleans some of what you're saying, not all of it. His comment isn't that great. And
Oh,
he
I thought we were
Like it.
relaying all
yeah.
this
He
through.
he speaks back to Callie, and he says, "Your people, not good track record. If we fail, leave the city."
We'll warn everybody, and we thank you for your warning.
Our people just let you go.
What's he got against Swerfnabling?
Sorry.
God damn it. Really?
Callie's smart enough to know, but Lauren is
So,
like,
so freely,
Mhm.
probably it was more of a generalization about all of us up here above land, right? And not so much
Well, I mean, that is
specifically.
very specious to like. Why would you assume that like we're of the four of us clearly look very different? Okay,
None of us
fine,
are blue. Not to them. Not to them.
Oh, that's yeah.
All
But
of
he's
us.
bluest. Oh, great, Hank. Okay, actually,
I'm not relaying any of this, by the way. None of this. All of this. Callie's just listening to this litany and passing it between them, but it's just
Mhm.
like there's a wall. None of this is getting passed on to the merit. Nope.
Really, for all it knows that you're my 12-year-old son. So
let me ask you this. And this is up to DM adjudication. With thaumaturgy, I can change the color of my eyes as a harmless effect.
Mhm.
Can I change the color of my skin as a harmless effect to just look blue?
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Sophia's is going to disguise self to look as much like this creature as she can. Like her skin can turn iridescent blue.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She can't change like her basic figure, but she'll try to mimic what she sees
Yeah.
as much as
His
she
skin
can.
almost looks like the inside of an abalone shell. If
Oh,
that
That's
gives you
super
some
awesome.
idea. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's like a shift there. And it's like at times it's green, but a lot of the time, like a very almost like a dark green. But then like there's a shift and it's blue or it's purple. And so it looks like the inside of like a clam shell or an abalone shell.
So Sophia's just kind of mimics depending on what light he's in. She just changes from iridescent
Mhm.
green to iridescent blue.
Give me a persuasion check.
Use my D&D Beyond digital dice.
There it is. I'm like, I had a really
18.
bad. Hey.
Hey, these are
Perfect.
lucky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he smiles. You see like a full smile like appear on his face. He is very pleased. And he steps down from the boat's railing and like comes closer to you and like shifts to see if you will shift color.
And I shift color.
And he then looks at Callie and he says, "The symbol of friendship is amusing." And he like gives you like this big like creepy smile because he's got like these really weird spindly fangs, almost like a lurker fish.
I feel like Callie wouldn't be bothered by any of this because she thinks everybody's smile is a smile, so whatever.
Mhm.
But she'll answer back and say, "We are only trying to help."
Sophia says to Callie to relay the message onto the creature. mimicry is the best form of flattery. Because she doesn't know the idiom, but she's trying.
Pretend to be someone is a great compliment.
Yes.
Right.
Their face. Yeah.
He nods and he says, I will consider. And then he, like, as he's about to leave, he turns around again and he says, if you agree, I will take you on a hunt. And if you perform well, I will make use of your help.
Okay, that sounds fantastic.
I think that is very fair. Do you have a time and place you would like us to meet you for this hunt?
Tomorrow, midnight, I will come here. I need time to rest. And you notice, like, there's like a very, like, weird sickly green ooze coming out of his side. But I
Understandable.
will heal quickly.
And what was your name?
And he, like, looks at Freely and he says, Hank in your tongue will do.
Oh God.
Good to know.
Can we
My-
keep
Callie,
his
Avren-
name's literally Freely. Let's not let him name anyone else.
My lay on hands is not very strong at all. But when I see his like sick wound, I do like very slowly approach him. Where if he hesitates or something, I don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do try. I guess like the closest flesh that doesn't look actively inflamed, I just touch it and I lay on hands. on
Okay.
him.
How much do you heal him for with lay on
Oh,
hands?
I think I only have 5 left.
But if he's, can you do the thing in where you can remove
5.
poison?
Not yet.
Oh.
No, it is just. Oh, actually, I can cure a disease or neutralize a poison. Oh, I can.
Hey.
That's what
Okay.
I thought you were doing. Yeah.
Hey.
Callie knows Freely better than Freely knows.
Hey, I got busted back down. I lost a lot of power. Okay, like
Yeah.
I'm just assuming I
I've-
can't even smite right now. I can't do anything.
I've been poking around in his head, and I remember that he remembers that he had
Mhm.
this power.
You know what? Honestly, I feel like Freely doesn't know he's got this power.
Yeah,
I'm just trying
yeah.
to help.
Freely, as you put your hand out, and he does, like, at first, like, look at you very, like, strangely, but not like a scared deer. He's very confident, although he's looking at you very suspiciously.
Yeah, it hurts.
As you
He's
put
like,
out
"Hey."
your hand, you realize that this isn't necessarily, like, from your paladin senses, it's not really diseased or poison flesh, but it's an actively bleeding wound. So this is something that is more, if that makes, like, it's not something that needs to be cleansed so much as something that needs to be, like, rest to heal. Like, something inside of him, something has been severed and is actively bleeding.
Well, I do what I can for him.
Mhm.
Do we just need to let him die to go on to his haven?
Well, it sounds like he needs to.
I think he just needs to go.
rest. He's-
Yeah.
Haven in the sky. I think he wants
So,
to go
yeah.
back.
but like he can rest and get better and stay here because I have more questions for him, but I have to go through Callie.
Yeah, no, he needs to go. He needs to go back to his people.
Okay.
But it sounds like we will meet up with him tomorrow, and hopefully we can be successful on this hunt and get to know each other better. And so then to Hank, I'll introduce everybody real quick and say we will be here at midnight tomorrow.
He very gently takes your hand in his if you allow him to.
Yeah.
And he presses, like, a piece of sea glass into your hand. It's very soft around the edges. And he says into your mind, stand on the shore and shine this. I'll see it.
I will do that thing exactly. Thank
And it's
you.
very pretty. It's like bright green. And you notice that, like, the edges have naturally worn almost into, like, a heart shape.
Oh, Callie, I think he likes you.
Yeah.
And then you notice he puts his hands on either side of your head. And when he does that with his finned hands, it kind of looks like his head.
Oh,
He's like, friend. And then he turns around and, like, leaps off of the boat in one very graceful motion. He doesn't even make a splash when he hits the water.
A remarkable being.
That was beautiful.
it's the most
Really?
graceful
Stop
creature
naming
I've ever
things.
seen.
What in the world was that? Millie behind you says, she's like,
We can explain this.
that was downright horrifying.
Nope, not horrifying, not
What
at
a
all.
wretched beast.
That's no,
I
not
was
wretched.
not
for your
wretched.
lives.
No,
No, not wretched, not a horrible beast. A potential ally to help the
Ally!
town.
Oh, I
Apparently, they
sent Willie to go get a harpoon. I was afraid for you. I'm
apparently-
sorry I
No.
froze up. I probably should have shot it or something.
I,
No,
as
that's not
Avren
good.
and part of the city council, has decreed that any creature like that cannot be harmed and won't be harmed by anyone, and we can potentially find a new ally.
And I
So-
second that decree.
Did you see its mouth?
The motion
Oh, my
carries.
Lord.
Have you seen our own guards' mouths?
Yes, I have to look at your mouths
At
every day.
this
They're
she
all very
laughs.
horrifying.
I suppose some of them don't practice hygiene.
Right.
Oh, my Lord. When it lowered its jaw and that jet came out. Oh,
Yes,
I must
agree.
say that
Disgusting.
was pretty horrifying. But as far as
Yeah.
personality goes, he seems like a relatively friendly creature who could be an ally. I really do
was-
think we should not attack them anymore.
Much nicer than the starving Naga, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Much
we've
nicer,
seen
right?
worse. Freely and I have been all up in other things' mouths recently,
Ooh.
so like that
Yeah.
was the least intense thing that has happened.
I suppose if it wanted to, it could have hit us with that water jet. That would have been awful.
Exactly.
Yes, it would have been terrible being
Did you
soaked
see
with
the
water.
furrow it left in the ground? Oh,
You think that's bad? Wait till you see a hag, kid. Come on, let's go to the mine.
She like shakes her head and she's like, let's go to the mine.
I have heard of this hag.
Oh, it was terrible. And then one of it like scratched my friend, and then its nails broke off, and then the nails crawled afterwards. Oh,
Oh, it is terrible when one breaks a nail.
So, sounds like you have a DM who likes body horror.
Mm.
You know, but
It's always a
inexplicably,
dangerous
it
thing.
just random, and then it just like this gets like stacked up. Yeah, yeah. And then
I
yeah,
don't know about all that.
I hope you never find out. Like, I truly hope you never find out.
I'm gonna take that piece of sea glass and I will, instead of in my bag, I will put that in the compartment in my chest where it's
Oh,
safe.
you literally are gonna put it in your hard box.
Oh.
It's more like my stomach box, but considering how much I like food, that actually makes more sense.
That's cute, eh?
Oh,
I think
Callie,
it
what
took a
other
shine
food?
to ya.
What
Maybe that's
other
a new
food do you have in
boyfriend.
there?
Well, I don't know if we've actually established that he is a boy, but he is a friend, so I guess sure. If you're indicating that he's supposed to be a romantic interest, I would definitely leave that up to us knowing each other for a much longer time than just the few minutes here.
I just meant he took a
course.
shine to ya. I didn't
Oh.
say you should get married.
Hey, but she didn't say no.
No, of course not. I would need to get to know him better.
I will say, as we're walking through, I know because we're kind of on the edges of town and everything, just every person I see, I'm casting message and just telling them the things that Avren and Sofieus did for the town. That they slew the Weredile, they slew the Naga, they
Mhm.
negotiated a peace treaty with Hinge. Like, I'm not even waiting for them to reply. I'm just like PR hype man.
Do you say a
Yes,
lot
this
of
is true.
to-
Everything he says is true. Listen to him.
Do you say a lot of this to Daisy as well? Or do you
Does
do you regale her with stories of your adventures of while you were gone?
Millie? Yeah, because
Oh,
Daisy's,
sorry, yes,
Daisy's
Millie.
the one.
Daisy's
Right.
the warlock, yes.
Oh,
Millie.
I'm like, oh god, Daisy's here.
No. Millie.
Yeah,
Knocking on the door of your
I
head.
do tell her because I realize she's, a person of some standing in the town, and like I tell her everything. But yes, including our doubts about the robed person with the muddy boots.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She nods and she's like,
I do tell her we saved Daisy. I omit Daisy being a warlock now. That part,
Okay.
maybe I leave out of the mythos.
and she says, very calmly, she says, Sal might know something about that.
Goblin
About-
Sal?
He's very well traveled before he settled down, that is. It's how he made his fortune, as it were.
Well, we were going to have to speak to him anyway because Freely and I are staying in his inn, so we can
And he
definitely.
owes us money.
Him
That
and his
too.
sister, they used to be scholars of some type, zoologists, they said.
Mm.
Collectors.
Sister?
Mm.
Who's his sister?
Oh, Sally. Sal and Sally.
Oh,
Yeah, checks out.
guess
Yeah.
it probably didn't translate quite well out of Goblin. Like
They're twins.
What
Oh,
kind of
they're just weird
animals
parents.
are in their
That's
zoos?
just weird.
I'm sorry, what?
You say that they are zoologists, but what kind of animals do they keep in their zoos? Do you know?
Oh, well, they don't have a real zoo,
They don't have a real
Us.
zoo.
Us.
Yeah.
Then how
uh,
can you? Then how? Us.
Pictures. Maybe some taxidermy. I don't know.
Oh, I do love a good taxidermy.
She stays locked up in one of the rooms in the inn, doesn't really come out. She's one of those nerdy, bookish types. I've seen
Oh.
her maybe twice since I've lived here.
She and Alindra would get along well, I think. Yeah, okay.
Right.
I miss Alindra.
Let's engage and let's try to investigate the mine real quick, and then we go talk to them.
But I remember him telling me something about well, the
About
creature you
what?
encountered in the den.
Why didn't anybody tell us?
She like opens up her like notes and she's like, well, I don't know about any Werdile. And she like, you notice her pull out like a little like gilded notebook. Sometimes I write down the things that people tell me. And she like flips through a couple of pages. Let's see how good she is at sussing out information from this thing.
Callie is nodding appreciatively at this. She appreciates the gilded notebook. Does she have a nice writing implement too?
Oh yes, it's very nice.
Yeah.
And
You'll
you also notice, Freely, she's been taking down notes of your adventures as well.
Yeah. I do. Every once in a while, I'm like, no, it was bigger than that. It was like 10 feet. No, and Avren jumped in front of it. Like, I really am like overtly hyping the heroism of Avren and Sofieus, the heroic council people.
Can I even tell that you're doing this? Because I'm probably suspecting some shit is up.
I'm like, no, I jumped in front of the horse, but then he jumped in front of me, and it was just, it's crazy. Like,
She's like
The
writing
horse
it
jumped in
down.
front of him, and then
You notice she's taking it down in bullet points, and she's like, I hope you don't mind. I like to embellish a little bit.
yeah, no. And then like we saved all 3 of your bison things. Yeah, remember? Like there was like
Aye, that's in the
right.
book.
Yeah,
And she
oh,
like
yeah.
turns to it and she like shows you. And there's like actually a cute little illustration, but it's very like chibi of like a happy bull with like a heart above its head and you writing it. But it's like
Aw.
very cartoony. It's
is
not
it also a chibi Freely?
yeah.
I
Yes.
love it.
It's like, no, that's exactly how it happened. Like I didn't know that like you remembered it like I remembered it. That's incredible.
All right,
Hey.
Funko. We need miniatures of all of us.
I'm like, oh, Bessie and Bessie too. Hi,
Yes.
hey.
Make sure that you put down that Freely is Avren's second favorite warlock.
Second favorite.
Second
Do not ask what number
favorite.
1 is. Like,
Second
no, number 1
favorite.
is. But yes, second favorite. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
you're
don't know who the
you're
number
my
1 is.
number 2.
And she actually got pretty well on her roll. So she like flips through her book and she's like, right here. Once, and while he was in his cups, Sal told me a tale about the barren mother. Apparently, she's a giant serpent and she adopts nests abandoned by others.
Ew.
Oh.
That is super
Wait,
gross.
so you're telling me this is not snake egg white? I don't know what this is. I'm
She,
still
like,
going
looks
to
at
cook
it
it
and she's
anyways.
like, I think that might confirm it.
Why is it red?
Oftentimes what happens, at least from what Sal told me, is that if a mother dies, the barren mother, since she can have no young of her own, will take over the nest and take care of the young.
Well, now I feel kind of sad for killing her.
I don't.
No, that doesn't end well. I don't think.
No. Any
No.
other
She like
random
looks at the egg yolks and she's like, well, a barren mother can't have eggs. So maybe it's for
Yeah.
something else's.
It's-
any other random anomalous monsters in the area that may or may not be true? Let's say a day's walk in any direction.
Yeah, let us know if there are dragons nearby or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
That, you know.
Yeah, they ain't like cave trolls, ogres in the mountains, storm giants.
Rasks.
Geez, you're right. The killer pickles. That actually has happened. Just
I definitely think you should maybe talk to Sally. It seems like she might be more up your alley for this type of stuff. She studied the area and its environment for many years before she settled down.
All right. Mine, then Sal and
All
Sal.
I know is these are dangerous lands. These walls aren't for decoration, you know.
Really, are you ever going to get over the were pickle incident? I mean,
I feel like I shouldn't get over the were pickle incident. Like the moment that I'm all like, yeah, no, that seems legit. I feel like that's when I need to hang them up.
Pickles are delicious.
These were not.
I'm trying to pickle my own. Cucumbers, that is. Not
That seems
radishes.
right up-
Radishes, when they're pickled, even worse than when they are raw.
How does one get a were pickle? Do you put a werewolf in vinegar for a long time?
Well,
You end up on a train, and then you just, it's a lot. It's just a lot.
It was complicated. The old friend of mine who I don't get along with so well was on a train and freely got infected because he was doing a job for me. It's a lot. Anyway, so freely get turned into a werepickle.
It was definitely, it was a lot of things happened. Yes.
You will have to tell me the recipe later.
I do have a sample.
Oh, Avren.
You have a sample? You've been holding out on me.
Avren, I will blast.
What's the sample, Avren? You have it on you now?
No, I don't. I have it in a lockbox where I have to keep it safe. Well, let's table that discussion. I'm not going to tell you what my lockbox is.
But I am your
It's
wife.
dangerous things.
What is yours is mine.
You're trying to drink eggs right now, but you
I'm not
don't know where
trying
they
to
came
drink
from.
them. I am going to cook them, but I'm not going to drink them.
If I let you cook everything that was in the lockbox, you would have like 18,000 arms and 25 eyes. And
I don't know what the
1,000
problem
tails.
is with that. 18,000 arms and eyes. It would only be to your advantage in our adventures.
While we're
Have you tried
walking,
to buy clothes?
while we're walking, I do stop and I put my hand on Avren's arm for a second. I'm like, wait, you've still got the lockbox? The one that we kept pouring crap into for you? You still have that?
Not necessarily.
I was, and then just literally stomp off.
Keep it quiet.
Meanwhile, Callie is just taking notes on everything, like mentally, like, oh, okay, don't pickle radishes, and there's a magic lockbox with sentient pickles and magic guide. Okay, sure. Just all this right in her head.
Yes, good job, Callie. Make sure you jot all of this down because I want to know more about this later. Avren, I'm not going to drop this. You did not tell me about this lockbox.
I told you. I just didn't tell you what was in it. That's yeah. No.
I consider withholding information as lying.
I don't lie.
As Freely
Withheld
storms off,
information.
you very much hear him muttering under his breath, like logbunks, and I am Vecna and stupid Xanathar. It's like as he just storms off towards the
Sofieus is trying to
mine.
listen to everything he's saying. Xanathar? Who is Xanathar?
All right, let's
Millie
go check
looks
on.
utterly confused. She's like,
So which way? Mine or investigation?
Well, the mine is the investigation.
Well, yeah, but the scholar and such.
No.
Right. Let's go to the mine then. Awkward.
I'll
more
lead ya.
talk.
And she
Thank
comes
you.
in and her dad comes over and he's just like, "Hey, Millie." She's like, "Not now. I can take care of myself." And he tells her maybe you shouldn't. Father, I can take care of myself. And you see him kind of cower a little bit and she's like, "Thinks I'm a baby." And as she raises one of the makeshift ropes they've put across the entrance of the mine to motion you all in.
I slap him on the back
Mm-hmm.
and I just lean into him like, you did.
Dust comes off. Like slapping a rug, like a dirty rug.
You did. Ooh, that's unusually hairy and sweaty. So, you did a good thing. You helped another town. She's not a baby, but you will always be her father.
And he curls his mustaches. I
Very
did a good job with her.
Yes, you did. And I
pressed the
continue to
digitator.
wipe his back hair
Yeah.
off of my hand as
No.
best I can.
Keep her safe, little man, he says as he claps you back on the shoulder.
Yeah. No, I pressed to digitate the guy. He's showroom new. I don't clean Avren, but I do clean him. I'm like, you got a little.
Yeah. You can tell he's been working in the mine all day.
Do you
It's
clean him
okay.
or do you shave him is my question.
Just press to digitate. He's just clean.
He's just
Clean,
clean.
yeah.
Okay.
Sofieus is going to say, do you understand how brave this young woman is? She rode all the way to us from the mine when we were done fighting the Weredal to tell us what happened. She rode all the way here by herself to tell us there were people in danger and we failed her. If anything, she is the hero and you
Wow.
need to respect her more.
We
She's
did
a
not.
grown woman.
All of that is true, but we did not fail her.
The
Aye, you
people
may be
in the mine
right.
died.
It's just sometimes when I look at her little face, I just think of her when she was a wee babe. But
I
you're
know.
right. She's bold, she's strong, and she should come work in the mine. And you hear her say, "Not now, father. And she like starts her way into the mine,
I'm
secretly like huffing and puffing.
I'm heading in. I cast thaumaturgy so that my voice booms. I'm like, Millie is a hero and an excellent farmer.
Did you say this like near the mine?
Oh yeah.
Like small rocks start like
Yeah.
falling. What are you doing?
Freely.
What?
Okay, you've not
true.
been in a lot of abandoned places.
Yeah.
So, loud sounds, rocks, not historically fantastic.
I cast thaumaturgy again, and one of the effects is a harmless tremor. I really do the Avren, oh no, you're scared. Ooh.
Yeah, literally, there are 15 people who died in there. Maybe don't make a tremor. I'm not saying it's going to come down, but
So you're saying you are scared? And then I turn and head on in.
I'll maybe be respectful of the dead.
Did I feel the tremor?
Oh yeah, it's a harmless
yeah.
tremor, but you yes.
Oh,
Millie
if the
is
rocks
like-
came down and you felt a harmless tremor, Callie was jumping on top of you to push you to the ground because she's been underground most of her life in caves.
Oh,
and
So
is
she
very-
has you like pinned.
Yeah,
like,
she's
"Aw,
jumped
she's shielding you with
immediately.
Her body.
Aw.
Yeah.
She's
Who are you-
shielding
wait, who are
Sofieus,
you
right?
shielding?
I
is
would
she
have
shielding?
gone for Freely because
Freely,
he's the,
okay.
he's the only. Well, I know. Avren can shield himself.
Yeah.
And I know Sofieus has magic, so I've gone for the only other being smaller than me.
Aw.
I don't
So,
tell her that
immediately.
I don't tell her that I'm the source of the tremor. I'm just like, hey, thanks, Callie. I think I'm all right though. Thank you.
And then through the call to everybody, I'll say, we should be careful to make sure that nothing else comes down. I've been in cave-ins before, and this is not to be. We should
Yes, that
not
was very
underestimate.
strange. I've never experienced an earthquake here. That's just so weird.
Depending
Okay.
on the reason why everything has come down, this could be related. I don't know.
No,
why.
it's not. It's not. Freely just cast a spell.
Very odd times. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh,
Okay.
I get
Millie,
back to my
like-
feet and just-
like smacks you, like in a playful way, because while she's holding her chest, Nellie gave me a heart attack. We barely stabilized the main shaft, and she's like kind of hitting you.
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm going to. So Millie's joining us, but the father isn't.
Yeah, he's standing outside.
Okay, I'm
Alright.
going to include her in the call. So I'll
Okay.
switch away from the Merid if he hasn't already disconnected, and I will include her.
Okay.
He's still on the call.
It's
If
for
he's
a
within
mile.
a mile, yeah. If he's
If
within
it's
a
a
mile.
mile in an hour, and so yeah, he could have
He
been
can
speaking.
swim a lot further than a mile in an hour.
Yep, or he could have disconnected at any time. So I will
Yeah.
put her into the call, and then I will relay to everybody and say it might be best if we do not speak out loud, just in case there is more loose rock. We want to be very cautious. I agree with Millie. And you see,
Okay.
like, she's in a position like you're going into battle. She is suddenly that
Mhm.
tense.
Millie is very serious as well. You notice her demeanor has changed. She takes a bandana out of her bag and she puts it around her face. And you notice like the air is kind of thick with dust, and she offers one to all of you as well.
I do not take because I do not breathe.
I'll take it. Yep.
I will take this.
I
Thank you
just
very
put my
much.
helmet down.
Yeah.
But I do
I
thank
will-
her. I
I will
nod
put
thanks.
it over the one that I already have for added protection.
And then she like laughs as she sees Callie deny it or whatever. And she says, "You could wear it anyway, just to feel like part of the team, as it were."
It makes me feel
Oh.
like I'm part of your family. Like I'm one.
With prestidigitation, I can cause a harmless puff of wind. So I tie it on, but I just sort of like blow like air in front of us to like try and keep the dust out of our faces. Just
Like get the mind flowing, the air flowing the opposite way.
yeah, just little. I mean, I can do it
Mhm.
whenever. So I'm like,
Yeah.
If
like
that
look,
is
I'm
the-
Avren. I'm blowing hot air.
If that is the case, I would be more than happy to wear one, and she will take it and tie it around just like everybody else.
Freely, it's so strange how often your jokes come up short.
Height jokes again. You know, when you say it to him, you might as well say it to me as well.
You didn't even offend me, man. It's just like read
It's
the room,
funny.
Read the room.
How often his jokes come up short.
Callie
he's
considers not
Half my
relaying
size.
any of this, and then just goes ahead and relays all of it in the call. She's
Come along now. Not the time for jokes. Things are serious.
All right.
You notice she's like smiling ear to ear.
Mhm.
All right.
Um,
Serious face.
All right. We go inside.
as you go through the silver mine, you notice that like the front part of it, a lot of the boulders have been removed, but it is kind of rough going. You find yourself clambering over rock in places. The track that used to carry a trolley back and forth is completely destroyed in places, and the trolley itself is nowhere to be seen. The shaft has been stabilized with very clever placement of struts in places. Some of them are metal, some of them are wood reinforced with metal. And you even notice they've gotten creative and used some of the large bone they have from the wall and repurposed it to have it here. Um, you almost hear it like groaning a little bit as you walk through. And she's like, I've been back and forth like 4 times, but I have to tell you, it still makes me nervous. And she like kind of shows you how to like pick underneath like some of these supporting beams. Um, and you notice there are like offshoots shooting off, like, different paths cutting off to where different silver veins were discovered and excavated, and then exhausted, and then they dug deeper. The walls are very rocky and rough. Everything down here is very dusty and it's very dark. There was a sort of very clever method of lighting the mine tunnel using oil channels that were lit on fire, but this has been broken. So it's very dark in here. Millie pulls out like a lamp, and
I'll
as
join
she
her.
takes the lead.
I'll pull out my lantern as well.
Mhm.
I can prestidigitate the flames in both to make them brighter.
Yeah. The collapsed mine tunnel is up ahead. There's a smaller collapse here and a larger one up ahead. That one took us hours to clear. People were trapped inside.
I'm gonna try and investigate the small one.
Okay.
Like I'm looking through. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be doing. Sorry.
I have absolutely nothing, and I have a -1 to investigation. So Freely's just like walking along, trying not to whistle.
I got a 6.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like there was some kind of earthquake or something jarred some of the supporting boulders loose from the roof and they caved in. That's what it looks like to you. It looks like there's like cracks in sort of this like smooth, not smooth per se, but like this rough textured stone wall, and that part of it fell in. You can't tell why.
Millie, is this branch that we're going down, is this the only one that experienced a cave-in?
That I know of. Some of them are abandoned. We haven't used them for some time.
Has anyone taken a quick look down the others to see if this is a more widespread issue or if it's just this tunnel?
Haven't had the time to be honest.
Fair enough. That might be something we want to take a look at because...
But I don't understand why anyone would be down there.
No one would be down there, but if this was an unfortunate earthquake accident, then it should have destroyed multiple tunnels. But if this was something caused by one specific person targeting people, they would have just gone after this one tunnel.
Aye, makes sense.
We should take a look at that later. Yeah, you said this was a smaller place that was destroyed, and then the bigger one is further down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Callie wants to go all the way to the end and kind of start at one end and move backwards, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's what she's waiting on.
Yeah. As you get deeper, it's almost becomes labyrinthine. There's like almost like a hand splayed out. Multiple smaller like tunnels branch off the main tunnel. Because basically wherever they struck on silver, they continue digging. And in places the mine also or the shaft you're in also tends to like trend downwards, and you realize you're getting deeper into the earth. As you're going through, you notice there's some very clever ways that they've devised to not only ensure the stability of the mine, but also how to get goods in and out. There's a very creative pulley system, a very creative rail system, and their tools in general are of higher quality than you would expect. This isn't just miners with picks. They've come up with very creative ways to break up the stone and break it up very effectively, and then remove the parts they don't need, put them into bins and send it back. You come across a very circular room as you go down the mine. And here you notice is they've devised this very creative way to like pound larger chunks of rock into smaller. And there's been 2 piles, one of very shiny, what you can sort of tell just by looking at glittering silver ore and plain rock. And you can tell that they cut away large slabs of stone, bring it here, and then further refine it before they send it up, before they send up the rough silverware.
Millie, are these innovations that were created by your father?
I
definitely do want to talk to him after this. I think my father would be very interested in these techniques for their own mining.
Well, any friend of mine is a friend to him. I'm sure I can make some type of introduction between you. He might be able to teach you something.
I'm sure he would, and anything that I could pass along, but that's for later.
And
I'll
she
keep following.
kind of talks to you. She leads you down towards where the main shaft collapsed. And she says, I have to say, people were all in support of him for years when nothing went wrong. But one mishap, and so much doubt has fallen on my Uncle Roger and on my father as well. Some people saying they're in league. Some people think he orchestrated this whole thing. The gall of it.
Sadly, I have found that to be true as well. My father's techniques have also been called into question every time that there is an issue. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It makes you question what you're doing and make sure that you don't have problems, but certainly there are people who are not willing to continue to help at that point.
Your father seems like an interesting man.
Well, I may be biased, but I think he is the smartest, most wonderful person under the planet. But yes, I would love for you to meet him one day, but you would have to climb through lots of tunnels and pass through lots of dangerous territory and some flumps.
Flumps?
Yes.
Are they lovely lady flumps?
I think they were of all different types of genders, of the she, he, and they variety.
In the back and in the front? Check it out.
I've always had to ask what is a back and a front end of a flump, but I felt that it was too impolite to ask.
Oh, you'll find out.
I don't know if they weren't willing to tell me, then I was not willing to ask.
So this is another one of those things that will require DM adjudication.
Mm-hmm.
Halfling nimbleness. I can move through spaces occupied by other creatures because I can just squeeze through small spots. Am I able to halfling? Well, first of all, is all of this cleared away, or is there still some places no one can get through?
Good chunks of it are cleared away. But as you're walking through, you notice some of it is inaccessible.
Can I halfling nimble my way through?
Yeah, you could attempt to do that.
Yeah.
Through one of the smaller offshoots?
Yeah. I'm I might be able to get in there. No, I think I can do it.
I don't think there's anything in there. That vein's been dry for years. But if you want to try it, I suppose you could.
Roughly how far do you think it goes on the other side?
I want to say about maybe 40, 50 feet.
I want to use my divine sense where I would detect good and evil, fey, undead, and constructs for 60 feet. Do I feel anything down there?
You detect constructs, so you get me every single time, don't you?
Sorry, I don't know if it's constructs or not. I keep saying that. I don't think it is constructs. But either way, I use my divine sense.
Okay. And so you reach out with your divine sense, and you don't really sense anything on the other side of it.
And this is a space that we think only Freely could squeeze through without...
Celestial, fiend, or undead. Sorry, not constructs, but yes.
Is this something we think all of us could get through with a little bit of clearing, or just...
It's tight. Okay. You could eventually get through it, but you'd have to very carefully remove the rubble.
Let's move to the next.
Yeah.
Let's move to the next. Cave in.
Before we go, I see here that I'm not really much of a miner, but I am somewhat of an engineer. And these tools that you have here, you take the rock, you compress it, and you get the silver, no? That is how it works. I think I can figure out a way to press it to make silver. Lots of silver. And Avren, I think you might be interested in this.
Like alchemy?
Like a little bit of tinkering. No matter what you put in, silver comes out.
That is very interesting.
And then she starts tink, 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 hammering away on the press. Can somebody bring me over a boulder? Any boulder will do.
I pick up a boulder.
Well, they just did as an OOC. My divine sense, if anything has been expressly like desecrated, like hallow or any like curses on the land, I would detect with my divine sense too, by the way, just as an aside.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I hand you a boulder.
And also, freely, just so you know, no matter what curse are in these boulders, silver will come out. And Sofieus takes the boulder from Avren and puts it under the press and presses down the handle.
Mhm. So as you press down the handle, a very large piece of stone basically falls into place in the press with a big crunching sound. And if you push it back through a series of weights and levers, it'll raise up again.
Well, it's quite ingenious.
You see here? It is a big boulder of silver now.
So the boulder is silver, but it's been like chunked by the.
Oh, it's just smaller pieces of. So I thought there was like stone that you had to like somehow break away when you press it down. It was like
No, it just
compressed.
like it just basically like crushes stone and then they hand sort it into like silver chunks and like chunks that don't have any silver in it.
Okay, so what I've done here is I have taken a much larger boulder, and now you don't have to do it little piece by piece. You do large boulder at a time.
Avren, when this is all over, like like when we have like a minute, silver plating, and I show my hand, my mechanical hand that Avren made.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah, no, I can probably do that.
Millie like
also-
chuckles and like taps you on the head and she's like, use this. Silver is soft. Scratches easily.
Yeah, but it looks fly.
Yeah, he
like-
just wants to shine. He just
Yeah.
wants a shiny hand. That's all.
I-
yeah.
she
that's it.
like, you notice her like the silversmith in her just kind of sighs. People always ask for this type of stuff. Make me this out of silver. Make me that out of silver. And then when they get it, oh, Millie, why is this scratched? Well, because it's silver, you dolt. It's soft.
In the back, Callie's just nodding at everything she's saying, but she's also pulled out a book and a pencil and is hurriedly like diagramming everything while it seems like we're going to be here for a moment. And then it goes there.
I hope you're not stealing that design. It's our patented design to the city.
Oh, my apologies. I thought
Don't sell it to anyone, but you
Yeah,
can keep
dude.
it for yourself if you want.
Do
I was gonna
patents
say-
extend to the Underdark?
I was sending this to my father so that him and his people could also use this kind of technique with their mining operations. Is that not allowed?
Is it from a competing city?
No, considering how far I had to come, it would be several days underground in order for you to
She's
get
like
to it.
catching Freely's like gesticulating behind you.
How many Znerf do you get along with?
You know, I just don't feel comfortable with it.
Okay. And she'll make a show about erasing it, but she has been drawing it in the book.
Right.
So
Magical book. Okay.
the magical book. So she'll erase it and close it, knowing that her dad has already got it. We
I
should get to the-
appreciate it. And
Oh.
she like leads you further in the mine.
Absolutely. I still want to talk to your dad though, and then she'll follow along.
I'd like to roll to see that she's kind of full of crap. Can I?
I guess it would be like perception.
Yeah,
Or insight, either?
yeah. I kind of feel like I know when someone's. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but it's a natural 20.
Dairy bundle, there you go.
That's
One
a
finally.
legendary bundle for
I would-
somebody in chat on perception, and I got an extra D4 because of the weird thing I got. Nope.
I would normally ask to roll a deception roll, but I feel like on a natural 20, I'm
I
not
got
Yeah,
one.
that's
So
gonna
it's
be
a
hard
21.
to beat. I mean, you can
Um,
try to do it.
No, I'm not even gonna. It's not even worth it. I have my charisma sucks. Yeah. So she'll absolutely erase, and you watch her erase, but it's obvious she's not bothered by doing that at all. And she had kind of finished the whole sketch, and puts away the book. And Avren would probably recognize that there's some magic in the book.
Yeah, I walked by. Nicely done, Callie. I'm sure they would very much appreciate that knowledge is now gone.
Callie does not respond.
And I just lock eyes with her for a few seconds and then keep walking by.
And then in your head, as you walk by, you'll hear Callie say, I would appreciate it if you would not say anything.
Oh, don't worry. I'm very good at that about that stuff. Yeah. No, but that's not true. But still, I will try my best. Yeah.
That's all I can ever ask.
Mm-hmm. She leads you further into the mine, and you come across the shaft that was previously completely collapsed that she's cleared most of the way of, obviously using the help of the townspeople. Large chunks of boulder have been pulled out, and that's been stabilized once again with very careful placement of wooden beams and different struts in places.
And this is obviously the major section that collapsed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a larger stretch of mine, and it's almost very difficult to get through here. Imagine like a toilet paper tube that somebody has stuck needles in almost at a lot of different angles.
So this is where Callie wants to start her investigation, and with having grown up in the Underdark and underground and with people who do this kind of mining thing, she wants to specifically look for the point in which this all began. She's going on the assumption that something caused this. So she's looking for a center point, something that would indicate what caused the whole collapse.
Okay.
So that's kind of what she's looking for.
Yeah.
Can you tell, Callie, if they happened at the same time, this one and that one, or were they in order?
I can definitely take a look. I want to look at all three, but I wanted to start with the one furthest in, especially the major one.
Because I'm thinking maybe somebody drops this big one, and then they're over there, and they kind of have to cover their own tracks, and then they beat feet out of here. Millie, who reported that there even was a cave in here?
We heard it.
Did you see anybody running away after you heard it?
It was chaos, if I'm being honest. People were screaming. There was lots of blood. People got hurt.
So is this an investigation check I'm doing around here? in order to...
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to use my talent dice. So... That's a 22.
So from what you can glean, the actual like tremor that would have been created by this mine collapsing is probably what caused the other collapses in the other shafts. You glean that pretty quickly.
Okay.
The damage here is a lot more sustained. More of a section of the shaft is collapsed. And you also notice almost like pressure marks going through the side of the mine wall. You notice like cracks almost, like this thing gave in all of a sudden. And you also notice, do you go in?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
do you
she knows
follow
how to
behind
navigate.
Millie?
Yeah, and she'd even go further if that's going to help with the investigation. She's comfortable with this kind of exploration. This doesn't bother her, so she'll go wherever she needs to go.
Give me a acrobatics check with advantage, because this is something you're familiar with, and also you're following behind Millie, who's done this a couple of times now.
Sure thing. Oh, thank universe for advantage. Because that first roll was a natural one. Okay, so that is a 16 for an acrobatics.
Okay. So you're able to get through without disturbing any of the support beams or the struts. Everyone else can attempt to follow her if you would like.
I would like to.
Okay. So I'll just need acrobatics checks for the group, and I'll take the second highest as like your group score.
Okay.
Let's see.
Hopefully someone got higher than a 7.
Halfling luck. 17. Because I was a 1, and then it's like, it was 17.
Wow.
All right. So Avren just needs higher than a 7.
Oh,
Avren.
no. What'd you get?
That's not a good face.
No.
It's not with advantage or anything, right?
No.
It's a 5.
Oh, okay. So Millie and Callie, I like that their names are so
Millie and Callie.
are kind of leading the charge here, and they're able to like kind of navigate pretty well. They're both very, very accustomed to doing this. Millie's done it a lot over the past couple of days that you've been gone. And Callie is born to this type of life. Callie very nimbly slips over the top of one of the beams and lands on the other side. And as she does this, Avren attempts the same maneuver. While straddling the bar, you're like half over it, the beam starts to slip an inch. Because these are not like secured in so much as they're pushed in with pressure, if that makes sense. And it slips an inch. And you hear it groan. And everybody just like freezes.
Avren, don't move.
Get him off that.
I'm
moving
there.
slowly.
I'm gonna push his butt over
You
the
gotta
beam.
go quick. Okay. So
Go.
you push his
Freely-
butt
You
over the
push my butt over.
Freely actually runs under it, and I hold it up so that
Okay.
Avren won't fall, and then I hit
Nice.
it with mending.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
perfect.
So give me a strength save.
Oh, whoops! Let me use my digital dice. Digital dice.
Available now on D&D Beyond if you
Available now on D&D
subscribe
Beyond.
to D&D.
Subscribers only. That is a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Very nice. So okay. So as normally you feel like this beam would have slipped, as it slips down a couple of inches, it would have smacked you in the head, but you're able to catch it all of a sudden and hold it in just such a place that your finger gets pinched, the side of your hand gets pinched on the beam on the other side. A little bit of blood trickles out. It hurts. It's like when your hand gets stuck like in a drawer or something. But you mend the beam and you manage to push it up back into its prior position. You were going to take a lot more damage from this, but you only take half. So you take 4 damage as your hand is like kind of pinched under the beam, but you manage to
And I'm standing right there, so
make it out.
So I just like reach out and just say Sanatio and just heal the 4 points that he just took.
Oh.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
flex my artificial hand. I'm like, I complain about this thing, but no splinters. Ow. Ugh.
Yeah. And your hand mends back together. You notice it was
Thanks,
like one of those
Sofieus.
blood blisters was forming.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Oh,
like,
no, they're
It's
terrible.
a nasty pinch. Yeah.
Like,
And
thanks,
as you shake your
Sofieus.
hand, Sophia's wonderful magic knits your flesh back together. The blood blister that was forming at the very edge of the cut starts to like reabsorb back into your skin, and everything looks
Oh.
fine.
I put my hand on Freely's back and give him a pat. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. You
I
can't.
used to be an elf. I was a little bit more dexterous than I am now.
Yeah, you can't help the fact that you're way too big. And I give him like a little slap and then keep going.
Meanwhile, Callie is panicked looking at the ceiling, and you hear in your head.
Millie is too.
Yeah.
She's like has eyes locked with you, and you notice like sweat is like forming at her brow and like dripping down into her bandana.
All
Callie
right,
can't sweat, but in your head she will say, "Pony pucks, that was way too close."
Message received.
Pony pucks?
I'll get a Bowflex. I'll
And
commit.
she's just like, your companions aren't the most nimble, and she says to you in your head, and she's just like, you notice she's like squeezing your hands.
That hurts me deep inside.
And
as
she will say,
Avren.
"No, but they are very useful in other ways, and that is going to become very necessary if the ceiling collapses. But I think we're okay."
Avren, what you lack in dexterity, you make up for in emotional maturity, and I'm very proud of you.
Whoa, then he's in trouble.
Yeah, then, oh God.
You also make up for in Thunder Gauntlets, and I appreciate that too.
No,
you.
thunder
And
coming down here.
She's
That's
been
a-
doing
It's a
this
joke.
all
More
in her
accurate.
head, and she's like, we should continue to just talk psychically just to be on the safe side.
I pointed Millie. I'm like, I actually knew a version of him that was super dexterous. He also was dead, but wasn't. So, I mean, this is like a good trade. It's good.
You people speak in riddles, all 4 of you. And she like continues her way through the mine.
Everyone's got history.
Yeah, like exacerbated.
Many histories in some of our
Exasperated.
cases.
That's the word I need. And as she leads you through the mine, you notice as you get deeper and deeper into the collapsed shaft that on some of the beams, they've tied white ribbons and marked some sites in here, almost in a memorial fashion. And the mood gets more somber as you descend deeper into it. The air gets almost thicker as well. And Millie kind of reaches the edge of where the beams are. And here the mine is a little more stable, but up ahead you see some rocks have fallen down and the part is only half cleared. And she says to you psychically, she says, "This is as far as I've gone.
I'm gonna.
I don't know what's ahead, and I don't know how safe it is."
When I'm looking around, does it look like there would be more to be gleaned? Like, do I think that the epicenter of this is further ahead?
Mm-hmm. So as you have been descending through this mine, because you did get that 20, you do notice that the pressure cracks kind of like get worse as you go in. And you get this feeling as though something too large for a tube was placed into it, if that makes sense. Like something was shoved in.
Okay.
That's the feeling it looks like to you. It looks very strange down here.
Like an
Does
actual.
it look like the shape of a giant snake?
It wouldn't be. It's not something like that has like a shape per se. It's more of like if you were to take a plastic, like a straw, and push like a pebble into one end, how the
Oh.
plastic would kind of splinter and it would send
Yeah.
cracks along. That's what it looks like.
Kind of bulges out.
hmm
Okay.
Does it look like an actual physical object, or does it look like an explosion that would have pushed?
You don't notice any scorch marks, and you don't notice like that chemical smell that you're used to from explosives.
Okay, but further in needs to happen to find out more.
If you want to explore more, yeah.
Just going into another hole again.
Millie, is there anything else that you could tell us about how much farther ahead it is safe to go, or where the end of this tunnel might be?
The end isn't too far ahead, and I don't know if there's much more collapsed tunnel. This is the only stretch we were able to excavate. We started this just to make sure no one was trapped back there, but we can't be sure. As far as I can tell, let me see. Let's see how wise she is. She's pretty good with mining stuff, so I'll let her have advantage. Okay, she got a dirty 20. Because that is 16 and 14. So she says to you, from what I can tell, it's only about 8 feet. Past that, it might be clear.
I'm going to pull out my lantern and look at
This was our
everybody.
newest silver mine. Our newest silver vein, I should say.
I will try and halfling nimbleness through the 8 feet.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to stop. I'm going to tie a rope around my own ankle. And the rest of it to Avren.
Okay. I grab the rest of the rope.
I go slow though. I mean, if it really looks like I can't do it, like I don't. I'm aware that this could be like my halfling tomb, but I do try to see if I can finagle my way through there.
Yeah. So there's like rock that has like settled, and you notice they've removed some of the boulders from the top of this. There's like a small crack. You're able to slip through and land on the other side. The debris does kind of give way. You notice the earth here is more crumbly. The rock here is more crumbly. So it kind of is turned into gravel. And so there's more distance or more space between your head and the roof. And you can kind of like clamber down. And you notice the other side of it is clear. And you can actually see where the miners are using pressurized water implements to actually cut rock from the vein, and the wall in front of you is glittering with the bright light, so like the bright shining of silver and the dim light that you can see from Callie's lantern on the other side of that thin space.
Yeah, I pop my sword out. My sword glows like a light source too.
I'm gonna come with him. He'll pop on over.
I relay all this that it's apparently safe. You know, that
Okay.
It's like yeah.
I would have been
the space
behind
is
you.
very narrow.
I'll look over at Sofieus and Avren and Millie and say, if you would like to wait here just in case something does go wrong so that you can pull us out, I would appreciate that. But I do want to see the end of this.
Well, perhaps
Not metaphorically, actually physically. I realized as soon as I said that what that sounded like.
No, I
think
know.
it's always
I know what you
unwise
meant.
to split up, just from my epochs of experience.
Yes, but I'm afraid that if we all go in at this moment and something goes wrong, we will all become trapped. And I am not.
If you go in
enough...
and something goes wrong, there's no way we can get to you.
I'm like, well, I mean, I'm over here right now. It's just me and Silver. Because
Right.
to be clear, it is a fairly small
I have
space
a
in
deep
Silver.
foreboding in my heart.
You have a bad feeling about this. I know.
We are not going to go far, and we are connected
All right, go ahead and go in and look around and tell us what you see.
Well,
How?
Callie, since you're a little bigger than Freely, what if I put a little bit of butter around the opening so that you can slip through more easily? Yeah, I don't want to make you prone. It's just totally up to you. It might make you a little prone, but you are bigger than Freely.
You would use butter for me in that
I
way?
would use butter for you whenever you needed it.
I
You
would-
name it. Butter, invisibility gum, anything you need.
I'm honored that you would give up your food for me like that. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna like so it's not like too cold, and just like put it on the opening
Mm-hmm.
and tell her good luck, and I hope to see you when Avren and I get in.
So Callie attempts to squeeze her way through. Callie, give me a athletics check.
Oh.
Psychically, I recount. No saying goodbye. It's bad luck.
We're not saying goodbye.
We're not
only
saying
gonna
goodbye.
be a few feet away, and you're going to be right here. And now I'm going to do. Let's see. Oh, I rolled really well though. Okay, so
Okay.
that's 17.
Okay. So it takes effort. And at one point you get stuck, but Millie's on the other side and she gives your bum a really good push. You get scraped up a little bit, but
I'm
you
okay with that.
arrive on the other side without disturbing any of the rock that's holding this tunnel sort of up. And as Millie pushes you over onto the other side, you do kind of fall face first into the gravel, not as nimble as Freely did, and you kind of slide down a little bit, and you see him, glowing sword held aloft with a glittering vein of silver.
I'll pull
her
out my
efforts,
lantern.
yeah, after her efforts pushing you through, Millie sits down on one of the rocks that's like kind of that has like, by this structure. I guess not structure, by this cave in. She sits down on one of them and she like pulls her mask down a little bit so she can like get some air, and you notice she's sweating. She says to Sofieus, "Hey, do you mind if I could have one of those turnovers? I feel like this may have taken years off my life.
Are you hungry? Of course, I've got
Oh.
turnovers. I've got butter
Stress.
biscuits.
I'm a
I've
little
got
bit
cake.
of a stress eater."
Oh, me too. and I've got these old catfish, but they stink really bad. You shouldn't
Ugh.
eat those. I don't know
Why
why I
are you
haven't.
carrying those around? Those
Because
have gone bad.
I am a little bit of an ingredient hoarder, and also
Ugh.
you don't know what you have in this bag. You know, it goes to the bottom. You never see it again unless you're actually looking for it. But
I don't
anyways,
know how you're capable of making such wonderful things and carrying around such awful ones. And
it is
knows
magic.
because you take out like leeches and stuff. She's like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah, I have leeches still.
you're not
was-
helping my stress eating." And
I
as
was
she's
really
like,
afraid Hank was going to know about that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the smell of the fish like hits you on the other side of the hole. It
Oh,
like
it's-
fills the small space like pretty rapidly.
Oh,
It
that's
destroys our friendship
Yeah.
with Hank.
I'm
All
like,
my
if they-
dead cousins
That's true.
in this bag.
If there was any canaries in this mine, they are dead now.
Yeah.
well, Freely, I wanted this to go quickly, and now I want it to go even more quickly. Shall we do
Mhm.
this as expeditiously as possible?
At least you don't have to breathe. Ugh.
No, but I can still smell that. We will return very quickly, and I
Yes.
will go down until
Mhm.
I feel like it's not going to be safe taking a
Yeah.
hard look everywhere.
You notice that there's like very symmetrical lines, like very geometrically accurate lines that have been cut into the stone very deftly. And as you're going down, you also notice like scraping marks along the ground that look more rough or less like, geometrical. Millie is like sitting on the rock still, eating her apple turnover. And she looks at you all of a sudden, Avren, and she says, "No, I told you that's not funny.
What's not funny?
I told you no practical jokes. You were doing one with Freely at the beginning of the cave, and I told you."
Do I hear that?
And
Did she say that in the call?
Yes,
What?
she does. Well, she says it out loud.
Oh, is what's going on with the ground?
You don't feel anything.
Millie, I'm not doing anything, and I didn't make any jokes. I'm letting you know, and this is a really weird moment for me. I'm telling the truth.
And as you say this, you notice the rock she's sitting on opens its eyes and moves.
No.
No! And that's
Oh,
what we're calling it for today's episode.
Millie gets up, Millie gets up, grabs her arm and pulls her.
You're gonna have to do it next week.
I punch it.
I was about to say, you guys don't realize that Freely will stand next to a cave in and thunder wave it out of the way. Like, I was like, boom.
I will. You will be on the ground so fast if you
That's how
thunderwave
Freely
in this
died.
cave,
Like, we love you, Freely,
and
but
Callie will kill you.
we have to smother you
As
now.
I have lived, yes.
Yes, there will be a knife, and you will be dead before you can thunder wave. You know this. We've known each other for
I'll
a
be
day
like, oh
and
my
a half.
God, Callie,
You
look
know
over
this.
there. What is that? Thunder wave.
Connected psychically. I know what you're about to do.
You just see like him like imagining like inching over next to the wall and being like,
I just feel like Callie's this innocent that is like the internet in the beginning, and Freely is just dumping horrible knowledge into Callie's brain and our brains from the psychic connection. Like, she doesn't know.
I don't know,
You
Avren.
shouldn't know any of this stuff.
I think today you just learned that Callie's not as innocent as she looks. So.
That's true.
Allie's a proponent of industrial espionage.
Oh my God, I'm scared at the end of every episode.
I mean, again,
I mean, that
she told us.
entire encounter with the sea creature could have gone completely differently if you didn't roll
Right?
so well on your perception. So I mean, all things
Oh.
considered,
Yeah, when we start cutting into them.
it worked
that
out
was
pretty
what I was
well.
gonna do. I'm like,
That's what Callie was gonna
That
do
would have
too.
been-
She was gonna.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like to keep some stuff quiet, but that would have been very interesting because that creature was heavily injured. So it's not something
thought
that
it
you
was gonna die.
definitely.
I gotta chase down that
Yeah.
warlock child and get that level back.
Hey man, I said it at the time, so no, you had to be the hero. Like I gotta teach you how to hero properly, Avren.
No,
Gotta teach
I
you
just
how to
gotta
hero
I gotta
am-
learn how
I
to
am
make
proud of
warlocks eat
Avren.
faster.
I'm sorry. There's no way Daisy's letting you have that level back. I
Oh
don't
no,
care.
no, no,
No,
that's
I don't
the
No,
worst
it's
thing.
hers forever.
No, I think it would be funny for Avren to try, and then Daisy will probably just beat him.
That's like the
Could
meanest
you
thing.
imagine like a level 1
Yeah.
warlock baby just being like, no, like, oh
Yeah,
man.
Oh,
it's a
just
horrible
blast.
idea. It's great. No, I won't. I'm not gonna. Daisy's gonna be like the ultimate warlock one day.
Absolutely. I
You
think she
literally
already
did.
is.
You gave a
She
7-year-old
already
in an
is.
inexhaustible eldritch shotgun. Like that's what you did.
No,
Yeah,
that's good.
great.
She's got a head start in life. She's only 7 years old.
Yep.
She's already level 1.
She is the next Avren. She's Avren the second.
I
Yeah.
will go destroy that
Daisy
child
the
myself.
first.
Do not say that. No. Right? I'm like, I have to stop it before it begins.
Technically,
This is like
magically,
Star
you're
Wars. Oh my god.
you're kind of magically related. just
You
so
were the
know.
chosen one.
no.
Yep.
And
As
Daisy's
a-
gonna be like, you never trusted me. You didn't give me a chance. While standing over lava, and she's gonna be like, oh,
And the halfling's
Right.
like, I can't
Yeah.
believe I'm saying this, but I have the higher ground.
True. That's how it ends. It is.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
we're
like
gonna
a
live
Sith Lord shooting lightning and
the
stuff. Oh my
final
god.
battle in
I'm here
Avernus.
for it.
Yep. Yep.
I'm
still-
feeling really claustrophobic because we're at the end of this tunnel where it's stuffy and it's narrow, and now there's a rock that's trying to attack us.
You know,
I
it's
love
life.
horror.
This is fine.
I love horror. And I always love like those spells that people think are useless, like giving a space to use them. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like shape stone and stuff like that. I
Shape
love
stone's
that
so
really used
powerful.
That is
mending.
not. Yeah,
Like,
it's
because
super
I feel
useful.
like it's one of those things because I feel like
Mhm.
people never
Mhm.
use that stuff.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's the first time I've ever seen mending used in such a useful way.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
lucky
such
you
a
had
good
it.
moment to use
Because
that.
otherwise, that thing would have cracked and it would have been
Yeah.
all bad.
I don't know if you know, my boy doesn't have many spell slots. That's why I lean so heavily on the cantrips. You know, I'm like, what
Yeah.
can you do?
Man, I don't know if Avren can keep this whole good guy artificer thing up much longer. He's just like got no magic. This is this is like
I'm
just
sorry.
painful.
You don't
every
have
step of it.
anything. You don't have. What are you missing?
No, he's just
You-
not a full caster anymore, and he's losing his mind.
But you've got that
And-
joy,
and if
joy,
you-
joy, joy down in your heart.
Are you indicating that if I do not have any magic, that I am useless?
No,
No,
You
Are we
don't
suddenly
listen.
having it in game?
You're
Like a
definitely
role-play?
magic.
that is absolutely what he's implying. Yeah, that's true.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying that muggles are useless. They have their uses.
Oh, filthy mudbloods. No, absolutely. They need to know their place. I will just say
Because I'm just as deadly without my psychic knives as I am.
I would just say the perfect end cap to this is I rolled the die just like oddly when you were like, this rock comes to life, and I rolled it and its super was a natural 20. That doesn't matter. It just evaporated into the ethos. But that's it. You're like, the rock starts moving.
Oh well.
Wasted the
Let's give away a
20.
legendary bundle anyways.
Yay!
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
One last
Gotcha.
legendary bundle
One
for
last
the audience.
legendary
Okay. All right.
bundle.
Well, yay. All right. Yeah. Well,
I
we
mean,
only
if
gave away
Todd
the
said
one.
so.
We only gave the one, so now that's two. There you go. So it wasn't for completely
Only.
for not
There
people.
you
It's
go.
Was
not
it?
all
For the
for
benefit
naught.
of the audience.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
yes,
you,
yes.
Speaking of
Jasmine, for an
audience-
amazing game.
And thank you, audience, for coming and watching us every week.
Yeah, thank you everybody.
I
Thank
love
you,
that y'all
Jasmine.
support our crazy show. I
This
love
is
these
always-
people. They're always keeping me on my toes and ridiculous. Y'all kill things I don't expect you to kill, and then you leave things alive and it's great. I love it. Every episode goes like differently, and it's so
Next
amazing.
week, we kill Millie.
This is true.
Oh,
How dare you.
why?
This is mine is ours now. We have
Because
the low
we get
ground.
stuck in the cave and we get hungry.
I'm sorry.
I will just.
Avren
The
has, discovered,
cannibalism episode.
Avren has discovered my secret, and now you must all die.
I will just say that if you didn't see, Jasmine and I did D&D one-on-one on Q Times Twitch. She was on.
I
with
did.
Me. Yeah, so check that out. Q Times Twitch. The VOD will be up on YouTube soon. We played D&D and it was a lot.
Yeah, definitely check that out. That was a lot of fun watching you guys.
Yes. Oh, that's a perfect segue into outros. We'll
Yeah.
go in the opposite order today because I'm feeling froggy. So starting with Meagan, we'll go counterclockwise.
Wait, didn't I start first last time?
Did you?
I
No,
think so.
You went
Well,
at the
this
end of the
morning you
last
went
episode,
last.
but yeah, this morning you didn't, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Either way,
I
it's you now.
remember from last week.
Last week was such a long time ago.
I know. I don't remember what I ate for dinner
Everything is so
yesterday.
long time ago.
Yeah.
All right, well, hello everybody. I'm Meagan Kenreck. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Meagan Kenreck. Also, I will be playing a rebellious water genasi mermaid in an upcoming Disney princess inspired one-shot on June 3rd, 5 p.m. Pacific, with Lily Sparks, who will be playing Princess Kokus and can only wild shape into a llama.
That
Danny
makes sense.
Gage,
I mean,
Shelby.
Wrong lever,
Shannon.
Kronk.
Danny Gage, Shelby,
Bring it
Shannon, and DM'd by everybody's best friend, Joshua Simons. You can catch us on his Twitch channel at Joshua Simons. And also, if you like the content I'm putting out there, feel free to throw some money at me on my Patreon at Meagan Kenreck.
Yay.
Awesome, Todd.
I am the creative manager at D&D Beyond. Maybe not after this episode.
No, you're going to get a raise. You're going to get a promotion. I don't know what the promotion will be because you're kind
Yeah,
of in
yeah.
charge.
We
Kind of
be
in charge
careful
of
of
all
those
that.
promotions in a Darth Vader kind of way. I DM tomorrow. I'm DMing
accepted.
Beyond Heroes, which is kind of a brother or sister show to this show as well, and it's super fun to DM all these lovely people. And yeah, that's all I got. I got enough. I got enough.
Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren Urban. You might know me as Obo. I'm the community manager for D&D Beyond. I'll be on that show that Todd is DMing tomorrow, where I will be healing everybody and trying to keep everybody alive, because that's what I do over there. I try to kill everybody here, try to heal everybody over there. You can find me wherever D&D Beyond is sold and everywhere else where there is D&D.
It
Of
is
balance.
D&D whiplash for you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of D&D. Well, you know, I don't have the Obo part of my life anymore, so I have to lean into the D&D.
And the murder.
And the
That's
murder,
the
yes.
secret.
Well, the murder
You had
is
the oboe
implicit.
the entire time.
Yeah, I
Soon.
just don't have the oboe with anybody else right now. So
Yeah,
I
but
just
Lauren-
love
you
D&D.
murder the hobo. The
The hobo.
Bo Solo, you murdered the hobo oboe.
What?
I did no such thing.
Murder
No.
obos.
The
Yeah,
oboe.
murder obos.
I love your videos, and
you.
you did a cover of our song that was super awesome and much appreciated.
Thank you. It's
Very
forever young. It was very wonderful.
And B
Yours.
Dave.
B. Dave Walters. You can find me all over the place saying words about things. Next up is Thursday is the finale of Roll in the Family, The Slumbering Forest, the game we're playing with the kids, where we have to save the kingdom lest they fall into eternal slumber.
And your
This-
kids are killing it. Oh
Yeah,
my
your
god!
kids are
Every
wonderful.
week, your kids are just like not taking any shit
No.
and figuring everything out. And like, I'm sorry, natural 20. Tell me everything. It's amazing.
Now, the
I
funny
love
thing
them
is,
so much.
my youngest, she really did roll like insane on her stats, and she got an 8 for her charisma. That's her only dump stat is charisma. And I was like, so you'll be good at everything. You'll just kind of be a jerk. And she was like, K, and she has been this entire time. We're taking a small hiatus on Anarchs in New York this week. So me doing some technical upgrades here in the studio. And then back this Sunday for one-on-one shots with Alicia Marie. But like I said, check out the one I just did with Jasmine. And
It was fun.
find me, at B. Dave Walters and wherever fine games are played. I think that's everything. There's so many things. If I forgot something, I apologize. Yeah.
You should definitely check out our one-on-one shot. It was fun. It was my birthday in the game.
Oh my god.
Not in real
the game.
life.
In the
Oh,
game.
okay.
Oh,
I got-
wait.
Okay.
B. Dave surprised me like that.
Oh,
It was
not,
cool.
oh my god. What the?
No, it was
Cute.
it was not my real birthday. It was my character's birthday, which was very exciting to role play because I needed that little
Aw.
bit of joy. I got to drink
Aw.
goblin champagne.
Yeah,
But I will
Goblin
not-
Champagne.
I don't know if y'all have been able to figure it out, but goblins are like my favorite thing.
Seems to be your thing.
Goblins are
Goblins
fun.
are the best.
Yeah, they're kind of my favorite thing ever.
Mm.
So
They're super cool.
they have been for a while. I
Wait,
guess
so
it leaves
really,
me
really your birthday.
my character's
No.
birthday,
Oh,
No,
okay,
no,
okay,
no.
okay, okay.
not mine.
We were all
Okay.
panicking that we forgot your birthday.
Yeah,
That's,
I
I'm
was
just
like,
gonna say it. We were having that
shit.
moment
I
of,
mean,
oh, we're bad
it's-
friends.
It's
we're
not
bad
her
friends.
birthday. We haven't checked. There's a 1 in 365 chance.
I'm a Cancer,
Oh,
which was also ironically the first character class I played from the Book of Vile Darkness. I was a Cancer mage.
So you're pretty close to me.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
one
on the
who-
cusp of Cancer.
I'm on the cusp of Cancer and Leo, like right between July 25th.
Oh, I'm June 22nd. Look at that.
Look at that. So if I believed in that stuff, I would like the limelight, but also I'm a Cancer, so maybe not. I don't know.
I mean,
Wait, is that true?
wait, you just said that like it's so dismissive. That is you, Megan. Like, why are you like, that's not a thing, or I'd have red hair and be on the internet. We're like,
Well,
girl.
I know I kind of look like a Leo, but also I'm almost Cancer, so I don't know if Cancers don't
Yeah, I
really
don't
like
know
the
what
limelight.
Mine
But
means.
I'm
All
an
I've
Aries.
heard is apparently I'm a crybaby, and I was like, that might be kind of true. I cry during Coco.
Oh,
With the wrath.
okay.
I was
But
like,
that's because you're
Yeah.
a human who has emotions and Coco. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like maybe everybody sobs like a little girl during Coco.
Yeah, I feel that's valid.
You can find me online talking about Coco. I do seriously watch that movie. That's a really good movie. If you need like a good cry, it's a good one.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was recently on one-on-one shots with B Dave, and I stream all the time. And sometimes I post funny things to Twitter. You can find me everywhere at that Bronze Girl, but mostly, you can also find me here on Tuesdays with this show, which I love. Thank you all so much.
Bye.
You're all
thank
fabulous.
you, everyone.
I hope you all have a good night.
Bye.
Stay
Bye.
safe.